bothered by the fact that we will eventually go there, and eventually I'll be satisfied. I'm okay with Antissa.
Hey, we're starting on time.
Patience.
Yes.
Hi, welcome to Tears of Kairos. I am Neysa does cosplay. I are the DM, and if the individuals around the table would introduce themselves.
I am Ninja Spence 21. I will be playing Zhonya Embersong, that the Fire Genasi Chronologist Time Wizard. And also, since the Tal'gor isn't here, that like Nate paints Warhammer, now that you know that I will be playing Tal'gor the Terrible in his place.
He's in New Orleans.
He's in Nolans.
Nolans.
You will get stabbed by a New Orleanian for that shit. The only thing worse is New Orleans.
New Orleans.
New Orleans will start a fight up here.
Yeah.
In NOLA.
In NOLA, pretty much.
What's going on, guys? My name is Jed Harris. I'm playing Arten, Dawnwatcher, the fighter with just and the bard. Leon fighter. I like to stab things.
Did you actually take a level?
One single level in bard.
Nice.
No, I've got it.
Join us.
No.
Detect the magic.
If you're ever unsure about what to multi-class, always multi-class into bard and hit that level 2 so you get the half proficiencies across the board.
Yeah.
It's literally the best.
This whole week was like, do I do just 2 levels and be done with it? Or do I, But getting the level in fighter got me.
Hey, thank you.
Hey.
Getting the extra level in fighter got me the.
We got a bit. Thank you for the bit.
Thank you for the bit.
It is basically a donation thing that whenever people can just basically tip us for playing and stuff, and then they can choose to pay us.
Thank you, Sam.
Oh my word.
Mr. Brown is currently still in New Orleans doing teacher conference stuff.
No.
To be fair, he's not doing teacher conference stuff at this point. I've been to that one. Anyway, I'm Hewitt or Miro. I will be playing Fil'verl Ettin, the astral elf Sarlacc.
You didn't take anything else? I keep waiting for something else.
No, I took 3. I took 2
just
levels.
takes Paladin all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
I took 2. Hey, look, I did it all for the spell slots and the meta magic.
Yeah.
The level in fighter that I took got me the extra moves with battle mastery.
Got it.
So now that's why I was like, do I get the moves or do I get a +1 to like all the skills?
Sam, I will say probably not knowing Mr. Brown personally. He was at the aquarium earlier having a stare down with a very grumpy catfish. A 6.5 foot long, very grumpy catfish.
But it should be noted that the aquarium is close to a walking distance away from all the fun things. So
Urban Street's not fun. That's just tourist bullshit and watered down drink.
I say fun things because of drinks. Like
I will be that basically go to the tourist area.
It's Pride Month. Y'all shut up.
Fair.
My first date with my girlfriend was we spent a week and a half in NOLA because she's from California and up north, and so she'd never been down there. We went in January, mid-January, so it was mid-January of 2021, and so we were there right before it was almost going to be Mardi Gras again. But then they decided to just have the garden district just do all the lawn floats.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we went down Bourbon. We walked up Royale. We went on foot all through the French Quarter. My favorite street for architecture is Dauphine. But we love all the tourist shit on Bourbon Street.
To my point, the aquarium and everything, it's near or in the French Quarter. It's it's very close to
it's 2 blocks down and south of Canal.
Like we went and saw Hamilton down there, and it was in the French. It was near the French Quarter.
Were you in the Singer? It had to be the Singer because that's
Probably.
where they remodeled
Bourbon Street's fun, but you get offered a lot of drugs in front of.
Now, let the individual that is still a tourist because the city has not adopted me, but has been to New Orleans more times than probably a tourist should, is the best time to go to Bourbon, 10 a.m. in the morning. There are not a bunch of fucking tourists. You can get your whiskey and Coke and grab a chicken biscuit from Popeyes because they had it at that time. and walk down the street and nobody say shit to you because it's New Orleans. Best areas to go to if you don't want to just, if you've done the touristy stuff 1,000 times, walk through the French Quarter, and this is a fun game. Mess with any of the gutter punks that are being assholes to other people by staring them down and like, oh shit, you're from here, and they run. Like that. Man, I bet I can tell you where you got them shoes. Bro, they're on my feet. That's the oldest joke. Are you even from this town? And just someone like, the fuck, did I just try to shake down a... Oh, okay. Truth be told, my favorite restaurant in New Orleans is no more. It was called the Jaeger House. It is now a Maui Taco, which makes me super sad because they had a German cook making actual German meals, and they had actual German beer, and they would refill the beer for you like it was a soda. God rest that place. Now, the other fun place to go is Uptown, because there is a bakery on Magazine in Uptown that, now I'm going to blank on the name, but they make brie and ham croissants, and they actually make real, it's not like a croissant sandwich Americans are used to. It's like a, honest to God, well, we have a French baker, he did this. And also in that area, if you go, it's on St. James, and you can find one also right off of Poitras, is the St. James Cheese Shop, Cheese Factory. I walked in and I see a bunch of hipsters selling artisanal cheeses, and I'm like, I might have stopped in the wrong place. And then I look at the lumberjack with ear gauges in the back, butchering a whole ass hog, and I go, this is the right place. And then I proceeded to spend $45 on cheese from all over the United States, because my wife was not with me, and I could actually get goat cheese because she's allergic, and it was delicious.
The best place to stay, though, hands down, is the old number 77 off of Poitras. That is the best hotelier you'll find. That's not in the French Quarter, but it's within walking distance. It's only 2 blocks from Canal.
Oh, nice.
Everything in New Orleans is walking distance if you walk hard enough.
Yeah,
I learned this because when I stayed there, my buddy
every
Don,
book is a children's book if the kids can read.
But old number 77 it has a restaurant bar downstairs. It's built on the entire like complex is a I believe it's an old what is it? It's old grain storage warehouse, like grain and mercantile. But it's within walking distance of, like, we literally walked either to the trolleys or to on foot everywhere. But it's right near the it's right near the, I believe it's the green line of the streetcars.
Now that my uncle's moved here, I don't have a reason to go to Dallas much or go to Texas much. But okay, last thing I'll say about New Orleans is I've told y'all all about Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sam, you are listening. You're now going to learn about the legend of Dawn.
Legend.
We are fairly sure Dawn is Fae.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can't walk in a straight line anywhere. You do not walk straight through the city of New Orleans with Dawn. You will take a left, you'll take a right, and somehow you're 13 blocks away from where you started, and you have no clue how you did it. But he's got a Tiffany's lamp and found a 100-year-old oak floor that somebody was throwing up, and you got a truck coming to pick it up. Dawn finds treasures. He has also found murder weapons and turned them into the cops, because he jumped in a dumpster and found a gun that was in a plastic bag that was thrown in there. Any case, so Don told me that his shop was just down Decatur. It's totally fine walking distance. He forgot to remind me that Decatur is a 2.5 mile long street.
Yep.
And he was on the other end of it from me, so I'm walking in June.
Nope.
In the only afternoon I had off from a teaching conference to walk all the way to his antique shop. And this is another reason I love the city. There's a dude walking down the street with a gas mask and a tube sock on, and that's it. And when I go in, I said, hey, Don. He goes, oh, yeah, that's Richie. He does that. And that's why I love the city. You get people like, whew.
Okay.
Dude looking like a Bethesda misfile walks down the street. Tuesday.
Last and only story I've got for Bourbon and New Orleans in general. My favorite attraction on Bourbon Street was none of the bars or places or anything, but rather one guy. One guy who had a sign that said, I'll tell you a joke for a quarter. 25 cents for a joke. And I was like, alright, I had a quarter. I was hanging with a bunch of guys, gave him the quarter. told a joke. We all laughed. It's like, okay, here's $1. Tell me 4 more. And he's just sat there telling jokes, and the whole crowd started growing up. It was awesome. It was all just a bunch of one-liners. Like, what's the difference between Jesus and a picture of Jesus?
Hang on, wait. I feel like I can get this one.
It only takes 1 nail to hang a picture of Jesus.
Nice.
That. It's a whole lot of just like, that's funny. That's funny.
My favorite end of bourbon is actually the Esplanade end.
Yeah.
Where all the Pride bars are.
Yeah.
Because that is where I get offered free drinks.
You ought to go to Pride on Bourbon, though. You want to make anybody blush, you go to Pride on Bourbon. It's a shop, and they have everything from yes to T-shirts. Saw a
balloon hat made into a male body part, and I wanted it. Oh, that's a good way to become an actual dickhead.
Made to an ear, an arm, muscles. What male body parts?
Arten, I have both spell books.
I don't
could be anything.
It could be anything. It could be anything. It could be
Who knows?
On our honeymoon, Emily and I were walking down on that end of bourbon because they got some of the coolest window art ever. Because somebody gets creative with Barbie dolls, and someone goes, "Hey, honey, do you want a drink?" And as I mentioned before, the best time to be on Bourbon Street is 10 a.m. with a drink. So I've had one at this point. I go, well, yes, I did. And my wife has to drag me away because that's the end where I get offered drinks. The other end, ew, old guy. Why? Other end?
So on one end of bourbon, I'm just some 35-year-old dude. The other end of bourbon, I'm a bear. Like this.
I am desirable.
People see this physique and like, that guy can cuddle.
My confidence goes up. My confidence goes up. I feel good about myself, and I'm not allowed to go win. Then again, Don and Mr. Fox in New Orleans both wanted to take me with them, but they were going to use me to get free drinks, and then we were going to leave somebody high and dry. But you can't do that. That's wrong.
That's mean.
That's mean.
So mean.
Right.
Okay. Game.
So recap. Last few sessions.
Last time on Tears of Kairos.
You know what? If you want to do that, go ahead, man. I ain't gonna stop you doing that, man.
Fireball. We kidnapped some college kids.
It was a lot of fireballs.
Grab hands. And we're all back.
Hello, Kami-sensei.
Y'all been hunting for one of the heart shards. You finally managed to get enough clues put together and got enough hints, and y'all found the folks who apparently had it. They were attempting to use it in conjunction with some bad blood mojo to summon something they were calling a blood avatar, which essentially was a pit fiend made of blood. Basically, they were just trying to destroy Strixhaven, as cults do. Mm-hmm. But y'all managed to thwart said issues. One of the students that had been assigned to you guys essentially turned into a maybe Kairos entity.
Definitely Kairos entity.
And basically took out the blood avatar. The entire complex was starting to maybe cave in on itself, so y'all just said, grab hands and port keyed yourself out of there back to Korra's hole.
Look, I know the athletics score of 2 of the individuals that are in the party, and then I'm assuming at least 1 or 2 of the kids might not have had that great of an athletics score. Running out of a collapsing building, also with a Arten that knows word good.
I was going on under the assumption that if someone who I deemed smarter than me gave me an order, I would do it because I'm not the smart at the day.
Right. because you got a little bit messed up.
Shot
also,
with
there's
a
a
dumb
lot of
face.
stairs and shit's breaking, so I don't know. Phil's logic is
if you
get
had
us
been
out of
Arten in
here.
his right mind, I might have ran back just from a boosting, but I wasn't in my right mind.
In any case, we literally left off with y'all out of there. So we're going to pick up with y'all felt the magic take hold as you crushed your key to activate that, and y'all were all basically either linked arms, held hands, touching in some way, shape, or form that's not bad. I realized as soon as I said it.
I kept a straight
When you
face.
said touching, I was like,
I think we all just grabbed onto Glenn because he's like 8 feet tall.
This
We
is
just
true.
Voltroned onto the Furball.
You know what? You know what? It's fine. If I could stop trying to cough.
We asked permission beforehand because consent is important. DM, where do we land?
That's the thing. Y'all haven't yet. So I left off that way for reasons. So y'all feel the magic kind of start. You feel like you're being squeezed and sucked through a straw, and you're seeing very psychedelic. It's like the Willy Wonka boat ride, going past without all the creepy bug imagery, and
Decapitated chicken.
you feel there's almost like it's almost like you're going through like wisps of fabric every so often, like you're being pushed through curtains. You go through 3 or 4 of them, and then you feel kind of a jolt, like something pushes you to the side, off the path that you were essentially on. There's a bit of a feeling like you're tumbling, and then you all land, and I'm going to need dex saves all around for that, because y'all essentially were getting pulled and then flooped.
It checks out. It checks out for Zarya.
nope. I land perfectly on my
30.
face.
Okay. No, Zarya fails, and Tal'gor probably does a 3-point landing.
Okay.
I'm looking to see what I can add to different things. That's death saves. That's tax. So that is an 8.
Okay.
Boy, I got a 5.
I got a 5 too.
All right.
We ain't never done this before.
The kids all land great. We're all...
Except for
Y'all remember
Tal'gor.
that port key moment where Harry lands on his face?
That's literally what's happening here.
And then they turn around, they see Cedric Diggory just kind of waltzing down, like, what's going on? Tal'gor waltzes.
Because Robert Pattinson can do no wrong.
Yes.
In any case,
Go on.
I haven't seen the Batman yet, but my sister, who's a movie buff, said it was amazing. So, in any case, you kind of all land in a bit of a crumpled heap. The kids barely manage to keep their feet. Xana seems like, ooh, dog pile, and she just kind of lets herself fall on top of all of you.
Ow.
Thanks.
Ow.
Thanks.
I'm assuming Phil's actually the bottom of this dog pile because everybody grabbed onto him.
Yes. Your face is like beside Glenn's boot at this point.
Did you know Kai was a dragon?
No.
Can someone get the big heavy cat off me?
Glenn reaches down and pulls.
I'm already kidding. It's fine.
Phil has a dread stuck in the chainmail. Wait, ow!
Yeah, same.
As you all get up and look around, you're standing in an open prairie landscape. You're not in Korra's hold directly. The arid atmosphere feels the same, but you don't see the box canyon, you don't see the river, or any of the individuals. You're standing in a field. There are rather dry looking bushes kind of scattered all around you.
The fuck is this?
Alright.
Where are we?
She told us how the crystal worked.
If everyone will give me perception checks,
She just
or your
face
passive.
palms. Tal'gor.
Hey! I rolled my passive. 13.
Okay. So that's better than what my passive is. 18.
19.
Okay.
18. Tal'gor got a... What is your stupid perception score? An 11.
Okay. So Arten, as you're kind of using all your senses and you're trying to figure out where exactly y'all are, you do notice that the land kind of is sloping up, kind of toward your north, and you do see a glint off water kind of in that direction. Looks like it's probably a stretch of river.
Okay.
The dry bushes all around you, they're essentially tumbleweeds. And as you're kind of scanning and you're clocking that stretch of river and maybe a half mile away, you do see kind of out of the corner of your eye, one of the bushes seems to move. Like it kind of almost shifts across the dirt.
I think we're just down the hill. There's a river right over there. Just barely see it. And because the land is sloping, we may be able to go back up the mountain and follow the river. But something's off about these tumbleweeds. Mainly that one just moved, and I haven't felt the breeze.
Arcana check.
Go ahead. At this point, Oksana is like dancing around, like, where did we go? Are we someplace different? Are we on Arcavio still? What is happening? Did you bring something?
You're not dead, and that's the first thing.
21.
You should think.
Oh, I know I'm not dead. If I was dead, I wouldn't be here.
Good.
21.
Okay, 21. You're not really feeling any like active magic about the thing. You do feel a bit of life force, more than you would expect to find in a normal plant.
Well, that isn't the herbology. It's something. It's just something. It's just something that is probably powered by a mitochondria, maybe.
You're saying that's a
You're
little
gonna look back at the hyper one.
Yes.
We're in Elysium. We're in Elysium.
Stop.
Are we not in Elysium?
We're in a field.
Is it a field? Is it an Elysian field? We're in an Elysian field.
No.
We're
just
angels.
It's not Elysium. It's not Elysium. It's a field.
Well,
Look out there in that.
no,
Look
no,
into
no.
this field. Is there anything grand or amazing? No. Why? Because it's a field. It's just a field.
Well, there are people with wings here, though.
Oh, for Christ's
And
sake!
Phil's walking.
As
All is good and holy. Fuck off, Phil.
as you're walking off, Xana's going to rush after you and still be bombarding you with questions.
You earned that, Phil. You earned what you're getting right now.
Watcher
Phil's
is
just gonna say, yes, you're right. Absolutely. 100%.
Watcher is investigating the bush that you pointed out. As he gets closer and closer to it, once he's within about 4 or 5 feet of it, the bush sprouts legs and goes running off away from him. It moves like a rabbit.
Told you it moved.
I kind of want to hunt it.
What would you do if you caught it? Would you eat the weed?
I mean, if it's got legs and it moves, then there's a body in there. But I don't know how I'd catch it. It's awfully fast. Your friend is getting away and starts following.
My friend knows where he's going. We'll end up at the same place.
If Phil's gotten 100 yards before they do it, Arten, you're the one who actually has the thing we gotta take back.
Yeah.
You said the direction. That's where I'm heading. Is that bush running?
Yeah.
Xana has now taken it upon herself to start trying to catch all of the bushes in the vicinity.
I'm gonna start walking in the direction of the
Yeah.
trigger
Shoot.
going. I'm not shooting bushes and wasting bolts on that. I don't plan on eating a bush or using a bush as some kind of like garb. It's just a bush.
That is just rather strange, but I think that we got more pressing matters than just chasing a hippity-hoppity bush.
Glenn and Dawes will follow without too much commentary. Dawes pulls out a small notebook and is writing as she's walking, taking notes on the environment, it seems like.
Just enjoy it as a field trip.
In any case, you all eventually do make it, 10, 15 minutes. You make it to the side of the river. It does seem to be flowing still kind of, the upstream is uphill. And so, off in the distance, up the river, You can see where it kind of, the land kind of comes up and forms almost a canyon that the river flows out of. If you all turn, I assume turning upstream to follow the river, and you all follow it up, and as you're getting closer to where it comes out of the canyon mouth, there is a kind of a flat-topped barge roped to the side of the river, and you can see a few people moving around, kind of just like both sides of the bank, maybe a couple 100 yards out from the canyon on both sides. They are, for the most part, the various centaur-bodied individuals that you remember. Most of them are either the cat-bodied or lizard-bodied individuals. They all are either carrying like short swords or long pole arms that have kind of a bifurcated hook on the end. And as you're all walking up, before they seem to notice you all, you can see them kind of working in pairs. They stalk close enough to one of these tumbleweed bushes. The one with the bifurcated basically pins the creature down. The other one comes along and essentially strikes it with the sword, and then they pick it up by the hind legs and either tie it on their belts or take it back to the barge.
As we walk up to the water, I guess before we start really observing these guys, I'm gonna let the Strixhaven school kids know. Don't fill your skins here. Upstream is a very large village, and we're downstream, if you know what that means. Just don't.
Got it.
Good. And then we turn and we see these guys. I'm like, yeah, that's who lives upstream.
Are they centaurs?
Yes, in a manner of speaking.
In a manner of speaking.
In a manner of speaking.
Yes and no.
Traditionally, people see centaurs as a humanoid and a horse.
Right.
Right.
These are centaurians.
These are centaurians. So some are horse, some are
lizard.
There's cat.
That's cool. And she goes running. You can try, but she's running.
Let's see if Phil can stop a mildly racist but well-intentioned meeting.
Give me a con save, Zana.
Okay.
I gave, that's a, is it strength just to grab her?
Your choice, either dex or strength.
That's a 16.
Okay. 11 on the die. What am I looking for?
She gotta be the 16. That she just starts just basically a time sigil, just basically as that she's trying to run. She just stops in place, just like, settle down. You will get to see more later.
Did I actually grab her back of her shirt with that, or no?
I'm sorry, what did you get again?
The 16.
Yeah, between the two of you.
Just, alright, yeah, that's cooler, but just gonna walk by. I need you to dial it back from 12 to 8.
But that's how I had took care of Calvin.
I'm gonna stop and turn around to all of them and address the whole group. Guys. Okay, look. We're going into an entire city that you have not met, that has not met you. And I'm going to need you to not charge into people who have weapons and make yourself seem as a threat. I know you
You're
have the
smart.
best of intent. However, these men are hunting. And at the very least, you're about to scare away the things they're trying to hunt. Slowly, we will walk up to them, and slowly we will introduce ourselves. And hopefully, they'll aid us back into the city, and then we'll find a way for these guys to get back home. But not without a good story or two.
Or I could just be unseen.
No!
You never let me have any fun.
We just met, and you're right.
Oh, come on.
It's just already enough things we gotta
In
worry
unison,
about.
no?
I'm
In
clipping,
unison, no?
I'm clipping the in unison no.
Alright, so, with Xana back under control, Glenn, Daz, and Watcher are they get it. Xana's the wild card, obviously, but between the four of you and the three of them, you're able to keep her under control, and you all can approach in the way you deem best. If y'all wanted to narrate that, or just
what day is it? What time of day is it?
it would be mid-afternoon ish.
I see we approach, hands up.
Not a hands up, just introduce ourselves way before then.
Yeah.
Everybody's hands go up.
I was just saying, so we don't look threatening.
I always look threatening.
I mean, that
especially
we are
with my
already
hands up.
beat up and stuff, so.
Yeah, you do have claws.
Just
Also, those hands are like the size of a head.
Yeah. Agreed. Let me just introduce ourselves while we're about 20-30 yards out. We'll be fine.
So you all walk
Remember
up to.
that you're not Ambassador General Dawnwatcher here.
The hell I'm not.
You all walk up within your self-defined threshold to the point that you wanted to get close enough. The pair that is at the closest point to you, they're kind of a ways still down from their barge at this point. But you're within hailing distance, and the one who is stalking with the forked spear kind of notices. You see their head kind of swivel up. Their companion with the short sword moves to their side, so they're not stalking apart again. And they kind of wait to see what y'all are going to do.
Just raise my hand, showing my hand that I don't have anything on me, but not hands up because I'm not in surrender ever.
Never give up, never surrender.
I just say, good afternoon. It's a good hunt.
State your name.
I'm Arten Dawnwatcher. I'm actually traveling back to your village.
You see their heads kind of go together. They whisper for a minute, and then the one with the spear takes the sword from their companion. Their companion comes dashing across the distance to close that distance. As they get closer, you see it is the young female page, Visera, that had been kind of y'all's assigned to escort when you were here before. She comes zooming up on her Komodo dragon legs, and she's like, "You all are back. Why are you here?"
Long story short, we had to crush a stone, and it spit us out over there.
Yeah, we came out in the field.
Yes.
All right, we'll get you back. Don't you look stressed, and you're
We-
kind of bloody.
We have a +4.
We were underground in kind of a tunnel-ish area, and it started caving in the midst of a battle. And so yes, we're fresh out of the battle.
Blood cult too.
Yeah.
Here?
No, Strixhaven.
Oh fuck, we should probably let Strixhaven know somehow, huh?
Yes. She just angrily looks at you.
What did I do wrong?
For as far as I can see, we've already solved the problem. So
Yeah.
Yes, but let them know, because I'm pretty sure a giant hole in the swamp by Gloomhaven is probably something they notice.
Eventually, but they'd also notice the fact that there's no bad guys trying to kill them.
We did get rid of the purple sticky whips.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, you don't know how academics
Follow
work.
me. We'll get you settled on the boat, and we need to finish up the hunt. But
We can ride the boat. Thank
yes,
you. I appreciate it.
there's not a path along the river. That's why we settled up there. So you couldn't walk up that way anyway. It's boat or nothing. But
Very
come
nice.
along, and then we'll get the hunt wrapped up and have everybody load.
Would you mind doing our friend a favor?
What is that?
Young Watcher, he wanted to learn how to hunt one of these things. You mind taking him along?
No, certainly not. Yes.
Watcher?
And
You said you wanted to learn.
he's kind of trying to be like the not very excited, but like his eyes are huge. So yeah, he'll hang out with Visera, but Visera will walk you all over. The boat itself is just a a barge. It rides kind of flat and low on the water. But it's a lot longer
Same.
than it looks.
I also ride flat.
But it's long enough that there's plenty of space. There's quite a few of these carcasses that they've been hunting. The cockleburrs sticking out everywhere, the little rabbit feet dangling out of the tumbleweeds, and Visera says, "So I will take Watcher. Does anybody else want to or not? I mean, you all
We're going
just got
to
out of
assume
the battle."
Tal'gor wanted to.
Tal'gor can stay, yeah.
Oh, there's a dog.
Phil's just gonna wipe along the hairline and come back with blood. I think I'll wait till
Sweat and blood. I'm over here still slowly getting smarter by the second. I'm like, we're good. We need the rest.
Arten, how are you actually holding up?
I need rest more than anything.
But, excuse me, in either case, it only takes maybe another half hour or so for the hunting party to wrap things up. There's 4 or 5 pairs of individuals eventually make their way back, and while the barge itself is long enough that most of these Centauran individuals can get on there, with you guys it's a little more difficult. But
Probably because there's like 8 of us.
everybody manages to squeeze on as best they can. There's a few tails hanging in the river, but it'll be alright. As they pull out their essentially push poles to take the boat back upriver, it takes about an hour and a half to get y'all back up to the village proper. At that point, Arten, your intelligence effect is resolved entirely, and anything else that y'all wanted to do in that hour and a half on the boat.
Well, if we're going to take a short rest, I'll get back my 1 warlock spell slot.
Yes.
I am not good at this game because I forgot all my notes and stuff. So I have the things on the app, which means I'm back to perfectness.
Okay.
Which eventually will be true, but like I don't know what acts I need to take at the moment.
That's 5, 6, so that's 11,
The sending stone that Erebos gave me
7, so
Right. Yes.
to call him if I needed him.
18.
Yes. I need to check a thing.
I was just asking.
Because
How,
I think it's planar bound. Like
yeah,
you won't-
I was
you
gonna
won't
ask
reach
how that
across.
worked and if that would,
Let me
because
see.
I'm about to try anyway. It's like, hey, leave a voicemail or something. Like,
Let me do a thing here.
I'll do check out my flaws.
Oh, okay. So you can send the message across any distance and even to other planes of existence, but if the target is on a different plane than you, there's a 5% chance that the message doesn't arrive. So you might have a signal loss.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so you can.
Is it? How does it work? That's a roll.
It's 25 words or less. Still,
It's a, see, 5% is a 1 on a d20, right?
a 1 on a d20, or you can roll percentile, and either 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 would be bad.
I'd grab percentile thinking 5%, because that's how percentages work.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, math does also say that it's a 1 on a percentile, so, or 1 on a d20, so it's the same. It's the same. So yeah, I'm going to use the sending stone and tell him, I'm sorry, Boosie. We had to leave in a hurry. Gather our things and crush the stone.
was gonna say, does it mean the rest of Arten's conversation we have after this still gets picked up in the phone call, like he forgot to hang it up for the remainder of the words?
I believe that is generally how it is played off.
The rest of it is him just answering the little hyper one's questions.
Yes. Do you like to go swimming? We should go swimming sometime. We really should go swim.
We will see you back at the village. Just add, we will see you back at the village, and then we'll go into the tapering thing.
Nice.
Is it just a long groan?
Not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's 90.
Okay. So you speak your message. Sana butts in on the tail end of it, but
Of course she does.
about minute goes by, and then you do hear Erebos' voice in your head, and he says it's not a very long message because I don't want to count words.
Same.
But says, I'm packed, but they're sending someone to visit Israel anyway, so I'll ride with them. And sending stones are technically 1 use a day.
Yeah,
read
I
this
figured
correctly.
that this wasn't a phone call.
Yeah.
We just see you all hold out a stone and speak to it.
It is just a text message. That's all it is.
You have 1 text message per day.
Now, actually, with the limited number of words, we have a tweet.
It is. It's
A tweet is more than that, though.
I was thinking of text messages back when you had to pay for like per digit. No,
That's
10
why we.
cents per.
That's
Yeah.
why we put G2G.
that's why G2G and BRB. That's why all these things were a thing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, how would I message this? It's like you leave out the little things like at and on. He's like had to crush stone.
Nobody needs these. Nobody needs A's. Nobody needs ands. Articles are bullshit.
Articles are bullshit.
All right. But yeah. So you got your message off. You got a response. And you all get essentially the effects of a short rest. You can spend your hit dice if you wish. And the hunters, Visera and her people there, most of them seem to be young teenagers or adults. There doesn't seem to be very many of the more mature individuals you'd seen around before. This seems to be kind of the youth hunting party, shall we say. But as y'all are going up, they explain to you that when you were here before, if you remember kind of the little bit of stringy meat that y'all had before, it was something similar to rabbit, but not quite. That's essentially what you were eating. They call them burr rabbits, and burr rabbits. They Watcher as well, since he went and played with them. Basically, it's a matter of they're too fast and they're too prickly. You can't get them by yourself, so you got to work in pairs. It's kind of a whole stalk and pounce situation. He seems to have had a good time with it.
Good.
And but y'all do make it back to the. You get propelled on the barge through the last bit of the canyon. It opens out onto the wide stretch of the village itself. You see most of the tents that were here before are still there, though not as many of them seem occupied. There's a few that seem to be open and cleared out of a lot of belongings. Additionally, as they beach the barge along the left side of the bank, and they help you all out onto shore, you can see a pile of stuff set against one of against the canyon wall. It's about hip high, and it seems to be a pile of clothing and bits of armor, and all of it seems to be in some shade of red, gold, or white.
We'll stop our little companion that was our guide earlier.
Visera.
Visera, what happened? Motioning to the armor.
I shouldn't speak out of turn. Prince Kalia will obviously have explanation for that, but things haven't been that well since you all left. You've been gone a week or two.
A week or two?
A week or two?
Yes.
That tracks with every time you go through different things. I mean, look, we already told traveling to funky places would mess up the time travel.
Yeah, I mean, that...
So how long was that goddamn college tour?
Apparently a week or two.
Apparently a week or two.
But I'll take you to Prince Kalia. At this point, Xana is, of course, we're gonna meet a prince. I'm not dressed.
You're dressed
Quiet,
fine.
or else that I will freeze you again.
Could you? That'd be so much fun.
Don't sass
No.
the professor.
She's not a professor. She was a professor. She got the whole ring thing going on.
I'm gonna use prestidigitation to create a little ring thing. It just says, I'm a fucking professor on it.
So technically, what?
I
gotta look at the text again. Prestidigitation.
I had a serious
No,
moment.
it lasts, it's gonna be there for like a minute.
Yeah. What is it? It's
I had a
creating
legitimately
non-magical-
serious moment.
Oh
when
no!
I
It only
was,
lasts 6 seconds.
Oh, it's six. It lasts one turn?
You create a non-magical trinket or an
Oh.
illusory image that can fit in your hand and lasts until the end of your next turn.
So for 6 seconds you got a ring that says, I'm a fucking professor.
That's going in the book.
And you just go, see? And then you hide your hand for the rest of the day. But no.
Bill's just constantly having to do that.
I had a serious moment when I was looking at the things I could have. I was like, I could have prestidigitation. I could throw cinnamon right back in.
We're just doing cinnamon back.
And then I was like, no, that's not
I am
me.
very tired
Not
right
me.
now.
Thaumaturgy.
And, it's been a while since I have been on a front line like that.
You mean front line of a fight?
Yes.
Since I've met you, you've been on the front line. I don't know how else you get slapped by a shadow chimera or shadows coming out the swamp other than to be in front of them.
She did throw 2 giant fireballs.
She did, that was boss.
Dawes pulls out her notebook again and is taking down more notes as you all are.
It is probably going to be spread all over Strixhaven that, Professor comes back from the dead and basically is a boss-ass bitch. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
No,
All right.
thank y'all.
Okay, good. I want to make sure that
Yeah,
was sincere.
there was like a hint of like sarcasm or sass in there, trying to make sure if we're in trouble or not.
No.
I mean, we know Tal'gor's never in trouble. He's a peach.
No, he also gets in trouble now that he got his voice back.
He's a peach.
Tal'gor's just our sweet baby over there being good. He's just eating something. Tal'gor starts chewing faster.
So, I assume y'all were walking and
Yes,
talking.
walking and talking.
Visera takes you back to Prince Kalia's tent. The prince herself is standing in the doorway of her tent with her guards flanking her. And she has a bandage kind of across her upper arm. Doesn't seem to be fresh. It more just seems kind of like protection in that last few days of healing. And Visera kind of darts away from you all as y'all get within range. Goes over and whispers to the prince, and then kind of walks back past you all and says, I gotta go finish help unloading, and gets out of Dodge, basically. Prince Kalia motions her guards away and gestures for you all to follow her into the tent for discussions. As you all get settled, her guards will essentially function as servants for the moment and kind of bring around refreshments. It's mostly just seems like maybe goat's milk and water and some pita bread with honey. Essentially is what there is at the moment. But Prince Kalia specifically doesn't speak until the guards leave the tent. And she says, so, you all are back, but not back as we thought you'd be back.
No, we accidentally kidnapped some college kids.
College kid. Indeed.
Were you attacked by the sun assholes?
We have dealt with some scouting parties in mass, yes.
Scouting parties?
In mass?
Multiple of them, multiple times.
So...
They are wheedling us down. It seems they're not trying to throw all of their strength at us at the moment, but they're doing what they can to make things hard. I have sent many of my people out, so we are not all conglomerated in one location.
Make things hard about what exactly?
They seem to be moving into a different phase of their silent war on the rest of Israel. We have had reports from a number of the coastal villages that ships flying Finos colors are trawling the waters looking for who knows what. There have been vague reports of dragons being shot out of the sky, though we are certain they're not any of the gods themselves.
Are they coming for your mistress?
I do not think that even the most ignorant Israeli individual would think they could go up against a god directly. I do not think Finos would be putting them up to that. I think they are trying to weaken us here, as we are, and always have been, an independent source of information. And I am doing my best to get my people out so that they can continue to spread the word that they are supposed to spread from our goddess. So,
Alright, but if all of you leave and she's still here...
They can't enter the mountain without her permission. No one can.
Right, okay, that's... I was just afraid they were going to try to trap her here and then like...
She's a god.
She's a god, though.
Yeah, they're working for one who thinks he's the god, with the THE and a big G.
I mean, that...
I feel like everything was fine before the Fire Nation attacked.
You know what? I'm not even going to apologize for the trailer.
Because I love that so much as an Avatar fan.
I just, like, it just hit me and I was like, I have to say it.
I'm not even going to
We
apologize.
just gotta go
I have to
find...
say it.
We just have to go find the one priest who is Uncle Iroh in all of the Finos church and get him on our side.
I feel like we're already the White Lotus.
And we
Like,
can't
I
lose.
feel like that's already us.
If we find Uncle Iroh, we can't lose.
Get the Dragon of the West and everything goes right.
And we will all feel
And
better about ourselves
I
because it
don't
will be
consider it a trope
encouraging.
because I feel like it took me a month and a half to figure out that the Fire Nation's attacking, but it's still freaking awesome.
But
I don't think that this is the final measure. It's more a preliminary attempt at weakening.
have there been any other reports or anything that your people have gathered?
Mostly, more and more of the shadows and risen dead in more places than they have been. I heard tell that that Stone Scar was very hard hit just a few days ago, and they essentially have cleared the town. It is guards and no one else left there.
They had almost evacuated everyone by the
Yes.
time we had left. So
It was just
one
the
solid hit.
shopkeep and the inn. Those were all that was left.
Yeah, Marley and that the Storm House had wrapped up their business.
Most of the folk from Stone Scar either went south to the southernmost reaches of Pinus Cabin Town, or north to Seabrith, and those in Seabrith then took ship and went to the First Trees. The First Trees has become kind of a bit of an unexpected refugee center. My people who are living in the around the fringes of the First Trees have been reporting quite the amount of civil unrest there because the government officials and the well-to-do merchants don't like the rabble being in their space.
Oh, of course, the rich don't like
Goodness
when those
me,
come
not
in
the
looking
rabble.
for safety.
I'm only reporting what I've been told was said.
They're a bunch of
Thank
pricks.
Agreed.
They paid well, but they're pricks.
I mean,
They paid.
money that you know, like money does
I'm not gonna
equal
say paid
morals.
well.
Money
We had
does
to-
not equal morals.
We had to bargain to get a few gems that they didn't care about, and not even get you a silver wire.
But they gave me the extra money to buy it. I'm just saying, for what we did, they paid well, but they're still dicks.
Not all of them. I mean, it's just
Nope, all of them.
There have been rumors, unconfirmed rumors, but rumors nonetheless, of assassination attempts made on Queen Jaziri's life.
oh,
Unconfirmed and obviously only rumor.
Question. If the queen were to be assassinated, who would take up the mantle?
It would be her niece at this point. She is 16, and she has been kept out of the public eye while she grows up and undergoes her training at her aunt's knee.
No, I thought I heard someone that could be easily manipulated.
Yeah.
If it was the wealthy ones trying to do the assassination.
If the rumor of the attempt proves to be true, obviously it did not succeed, as Queen Jaziri has been among the refugees and doing her best to ensure that they have what they need. Though, for the most part, it seems food supplies are beginning to be severely hit, as most of the agriculture is now centered around Finos Fade, with the fall of most of the other reaches around First Trees being consumed with the influx. It's not quite at a tipping point, but it's not far from it, from what I hear.
it means that we need to probably work quickly.
We need to move faster, but the problem is we don't know how much time's flying by while we're there. So maybe this time, it pains me to say it, next place we go, we don't hit the tavern.
I mean that by all means that you know that if that y'all want to go to taverns and stuff, but I do understand that the sense of urgency. Then I can see
Yeah,
what
I'm
I
just
can
saying, if we've been going for like 2 weeks, that one very fun evening the other night at the tavern was like a whole 4 days.
Yeah.
Hey, that means we can say we were drinking for 4 days. And we were still standing.
Wouldn't be the first time I would drink it for 4 days.
Constantly.
Wouldn't be the first time I would drink it for 4 days.
A tale indeed. I will make this clear now, in the event that when you next return, things are even worse. If you should return here again and we are not here, your next best bet for anyone who could help you here in Israel on the ground would be the apothecarist from Stone Scar Pass. I heard she she went south to Pinus, Cabin Town. You will be able to find her by contacting Lucian, is another herbalist in southern Cabin Town. There isn't exactly a road between here and there, but if you head due east from the mouth of the canyon, you would be able to reach there in 3 days, barring weather or other issues.
Right.
For my people's own sake, for my own sake, I cannot divulge where my people are going. But
That's understandable. Someone could drill into our brain and get it out even if we didn't say anything.
for the most part, and she pulls a small satchel and kind of sets it in front of her and pulls out some essentially they're stones, just like flat river stones, and she stacks them into like a small cairn. She says if you ever see the stone towers, they generally indicate a camp, and you can follow that way.
And it was 5 of them.
Yes. If there's ever a 6th stone, it'll be pointing the direction it leans against. If you ever need help, you can use that as well. And any passing will be able to recognize it. I regret to say I do not know how to get your young friends back where they came from, but I do not recommend they stay here. I can give you one night to attempt to figure out what to do about that. But I would strongly recommend figuring things out on the morrow.
Have you seen the voice for your mistress recently?
The voice has been in conference with the goddess since the morning. If you are
Will the voice be going with you, or will the voice be staying here?
undetermined at this point.
Right.
At this point, I am not leaving my people's homeland. We have held the hold for 700 years. I have no intention to leave, and if we must leave, I will be the last. I only offer that information as a last resort what if. Hopefully it does not come to that.
Understandable. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for the warm meal. It was much needed.
Of course. You may wish to visit the collector. They have gathered a lot since the scouts have been raiding.
At this point, I'm assuming the hyper one is already gone. The attention of the collector.
Sana doesn't know where to go, but she's like...
No, we just turn and look, and there's an outline of where she was sitting. It's like, great. This is gonna be like trying to catch a kid in the middle of the mall.
I got that reference. She says, your tent is where it was before. There are plenty of empty ones along that entire row that you could put your companions in for the night as well. No one will disturb them. There are alarms that will be triggered if any of the scouts stage another incursion. But we hope we've seen the last of them for a while. It's been a few days since the last.
Okay.
So.
Right.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Sorry. Let's say we...
Will you take dinner with the rest of us at the communal amphitheater, or will you prefer dinner in your tent?
I think the tent might be the best choice for tonight.
We've had a lot of action in the past 24 hours.
Understandable. I would, under better circumstances, demand the story, but I will leave you to your rest.
I'll summarize.
Tell the story.
I will go with Zana if she is going to go
I will summarize it. We went to college. We had a bad experience. There was a professor that was an asshole leading a cult. And then somebody turned into a dragon and fought a blood demon. And then we came back home.
A typical college story. We got very drunk. We didn't
Just your typical college story.
Typical college story.
We met a giant.
You're talking to a nomadic tribal.
It is a flame that just goes up into like a question mark, like. What?
Prince Kelly is just like. Yes.
I will.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but
recap.
Yes.
I will do a more formal version.
You write your stories and tell him later. We will. I think we need to go put our things down for a moment's rest for a second, and then see the collector if we would like to.
I actually need your help with something I stole.
I just go like fiery. Like.
Oh wait, technically it was
I
stolen.
will help you. That's all.
Hold on. If they were all dead, is it still stealing?
Nope, it's looting.
It is
claiming,
looting.
right? It's claiming.
Yeah.
If I hadn't been born to be prince, I would have been a thief. And she just gets up and
If
Let's
you
just
killed
head
them,
out of
then
the
you
tent.
earned it.
So you're saying it's just wages?
Yes.
Murder wages?
Well, no.
Right, so you all are heading to your tent.
Yes, this is walking to the tent and we're having this murder wages conversation. No, I mean, If you're fighting someone and you win the battle, then you win something from the battle. You've earned that title that they had or the thing that you were fighting for. And so, from where I come from, that is yours. It's not stolen. It's earned.
Speaking of which, did you put that in the box yet?
In the box.
We have a little box to put all the shards in, don't we? Or was the box? No, that's the box that the compass came in.
Yes. Yes.
I thought there was a box.
I've got way too many versions of this story. I'm sorry, I do not remember.
We have a compass. I thought we had like a Pokemon.
No, we
Pokedex
don't
you could put
have
it in.
that. We don't have that.
Okay.
It's just in the bag.
It's just in the bag.
I'm sorry. I thought we.
I'm trying to get better
The
about
player who is sitting back up in the astral sea playing me right now thought we had a cool ass box to tote everything in.
No. Just a bag.
Anyway,
DM's writing down.
Phil.
Get a Pokedex box for
Phil
next
just
go
pulls
round.
out the crystal
Strong
heart.
box for shards.
Mm-hmm.
Because alliteration is key.
So yeah,
Not sponsored.
Phil
by Pokemon.
just it was a crystal heart, right? That had been in there that I snatched out.
Yes. Yes.
It's so
Yes. God,
I
yes.
took this out the brazier. I wasn't able to snatch up the cup.
The cup was full of blood.
The cup had value. It was also part of the magical.
I mean, that just as long as it just
I mean,
had
what? Okay, Arten. Now I'm gonna feel
It
really
was a
bad.
cup.
If I poured out all the blood and then we poured in ale and then you drank the ale and then it still was full of ale, it was a never-ending cup or whatever it was filled with.
I mean, that just
If
as
it
long,
was a never-ending cup of whatever it's filled with, you pour out the blood and it would be full of blood.
just as long as then that there
I
was
guess
just
so.
no like little bitty
Nah.
bunny rabbit coming after you because you touched that you touched the ground.
I'm just not.
That's true.
You have a crystal
I heard
heart.
that rabbit is dynamite.
Yes, I mean that that they use like radiant, that they use a spell called like just a radiant grenade. I don't know what that is.
Anyway, I don't know what this is, but I took it. So once we get a second to sit down, I want to know what it is.
Okay. All right. So you make it back to your tent. Everything's a little dusty, just kind of the ambient dust of an arid high plains tentscape. But most of the cushions and everything were essentially untouched. Everything's aired out. It's been kept ready for
Just
you.
want a bowl of water to kind of wash my face and like gather myself. for it.
Visera would have been. She's finished up with helping unload and kind of divvying out the butchering for the burr rabbits. She saw you all leave Prince Kalia's tent, and she's been scrambling. She comes. Essentially, she's got think like a vest, but it lays over her back. And it's got like pitchers of water that are like capped over and stuff. A few different things. Bowl of fruit. She kind of comes in as y'all are kind of getting things off and settled. And she finishes getting the tent ready for you all. And then she says, I was told dinner here in your tents.
Yes, please.
All right. It will be fresh burr rabbit stew. There will be more bread and honey. We're on travel rations, even though we're not traveling essentially. But it will be tasty.
It sounds lovely, and I appreciate it.
But just a couple hours to get that ready.
It's fine. We plan on swinging by the collector after we collect ourselves.
Clever. All right. I'll leave you all to it then. And dinner will hopefully be ready for you just as soon as we get it done. And she heads out. Xana and the students claim one of the nearby tents, and you can hear them kind of, Xana especially, kind of like, look at these pillows!
Alright, so after,
Please tell me when she hits him, she just literally disappears into the pillows.
Oh yes,
Just
it's a pile of pillows.
I just wanted to take a moment to kind of clean up and not be bloodied.
Yeah.
And kind of assess the situation, figure out what we have, what we don't have, that kind of thing.
Alright. You take some time to examine your crystal heart. Okay.
So would that be Arcana or...
Arcana.
Okay.
I am helping
Assist.
belligerently. But I'm helping
Belligerently.
begrudgingly. It was the word.
Okay. With the belligerent help, I got 12.
Wow.
That was belligerent.
Alright, I really would appreciate not a passive-aggressive insult while I'm trying to figure out what this is. I know about facets, not magic.
Oh, that, that just, ignore the fact of that, I don't know, that we had possibly committed more crimes.
You don't have identify or anything like that?
No.
No? Okay.
I
It's not the end of the world. I have another option.
will burn a
out,
detect magic. I burn a detect magic.
I could do detect magic without you having to spend a spell slot. Because
It's definitely magical. Remind me what all that actually checks.
Technically.
I think
And
it
only
shows
very
the school.
technically. It's only against the law if the people who are deemed against the law are in the same realm and can charge you with it.
What?
Okay.
I'm just saying it's not really stealing from anyone if no one's gonna catch you and can't prove that you did it.
So with detect magic, obviously it's magical. As for the school of magic, you're getting the same mingled energies that kind of permeated Strixhaven. It's not anything as cut and dried as evocation or transmutation.
It's wibbly wobbly.
It's very wibbly wobbly, but it definitely feels more like the Witherbloom type of magic and Lorehold. Seems like if you had to put a name on it, it would be something like evocation or healing necromancy and abjuration, all mingled together.
This is the heart of Karn. I'm gonna be very.
It's not. I don't even know what that is. What the hell is that?
It's kind of the beneficial
It's a magic
necromancy,
thing.
and it's a little education-y.
Yeah.
Hey, notice your eyes are doing the same thing?
No, that they are just a little bit, just calm down.
Right. Why are you mad?
Jeez, that, figured out that I finally got my memory back and whisked away from it. But I understand that we have a bigger purpose.
I was trying to make sure nobody died in a hole.
That is understandable, and I do thank you for that.
Okay.
I mean, he would have made it up the stairs, to be honest.
If I was in my right mind, I probably would have tried. But I wasn't quite sure what numbers were, so the idea of someone obviously smarter than I was at the moment telling me they hold hands.
That's the
Yeah,
nicest
we're
thing
doing
Arten
it.
has actually said to me other than complimenting my legs.
It's nice legs.
I mean,
They're
granted,
long and elegant.
that granted,
All
I am not a
5'5" of
survivalist.
these long legs.
He's 5'5", but most of it's
Legs for
It's just-
days!
Most of it's
Phil
legs.
opens up the vest, there's
Hurricane.
actually this little tiny torso. And it's just all
It's
legs.
all legs.
Leg for days.
Oh
Phil's walking down the path and he just hikes up his the whole thing and he just leg.
Dear God, that's like Tifa from Final Fantasy
Get
VII.
that upper thigh.
But you did use common sense, and in that for that, I thank you. Rather than using intellect, common god was used.
I have not been said to have that one before.
Take it as a compliment.
How long do y'all want to chill in your tent before you head to the collector?
I'm ready now. I've
Look,
gathered myself and looked
Arten,
into
why don't you rest? You took quite the smacking.
again. Those links gave me worse of a smacking than these things. Than what we just did.
To be fair, the worst thing we have fought so far. Actually, no, that's fucking bullshit. The worst thing we fought was that Sphinx that had a vulture head.
We didn't fight that. We ran.
We ran. That
We
the
fought
Shadow
and we
Chimera-
lost.
Tal'gor wrote it, and we ran.
I count that as a loss, but Tal'gor gets 5 cool points.
Yeah. We the tactical advance to the rear.
We advanced forward. We just kept going and said, fuck that shit, I'm out.
So but no, I'm fine. Besides, I picked up a dagger in Strixhaven specifically so I could trade it here.
Okay. Alright.
That was smart.
It's a +1 dagger from a place he's never been. That's pretty. Like I
All the shit I would trade is having to be brought back by your boo. Now, please tell me elsewhere Erebos is just squeezing the pest, making it go squeak.
Oh, there are so many. He's got a pile of the plushies. Like he would have gone back to the store and bought some more plushies.
I didn't even think
is
about
it like the ducks?
I didn't even think about the plushies and stuff. I just knew that we left some things, so I said gather our things. I was like, ... like.
Dot.
Now we're gonna have the maid come with us because he's just like, I took her. No.
That's a robot. Let's shove it
Oh
in
no!
the bag.
Is he taking the pillows? Because like I know people who stayed at hotels and were assholes and took the Erebos isn't that.
He would probably just take the soap.
He's lived for so long. You think he took the pillows?
He is wanted across 7 planes for taking.
It turns
For
out
taking
those
pillows.
pillows are actually the best.
For taking linen.
It turns out that all the pillows in this entire village were brought here by Erebos coming back from different planes. Like, what's up, guys?
He is the pillow dealer.
Look what I got. More pillows.
he has some sophisticated deals for you.
Sophisticated.
That's going in the
Also,
books.
everybody help me. I keep thinking there's a flash that pops up on the screen, but I can't tell if it's the stuff at the bottom or if we actually have a flicker.
It is probably this that keeps on
It's
going.
me. I'm too brilliant.
Oh.
It's probably that.
Okay. You all are you trying to sneak past the kids from Strixhaven, or are y'all taking them away?
No, I'll go
Who wants to
bring
go
them
see a bunch of weird shit in a tent?
Xana pops up out of the pillow pile. I'm not
Okay,
good shit.
I'll explain. There's a man here called the Collector. He collects artifacts and weapons and things from around the realm and likes to trade them. He does not deal with money, he only trades.
That's good, because I don't have any money.
He's eccentric. And
Aren't we all?
some more than others. And if you'd like to come, you can. Please, when we go into the tent, be wary. Everything's a little unstable.
Don't touch anything.
Hands in pockets. Hands in pockets. There you go.
Shit is stacked and supports the tent.
He has.
Got it. Don't cause an avalanche.
Tails tucked between your legs.
No avalanche. Got it.
She's gonna cause a fucking avalanche.
Just be on the other side.
No avalanche. Not doing that.
Oh god.
I promise. No avalanches.
Collector's not gonna trade anything with us because he's gonna knock it all down and be like, I'll trade you labor for nothing.
I ate on
Should
that
we go by
wisdom
that
save,
pile of a bunch
totally
of dead
believer.
Finos assholes and use that as barter
what?
supplies?
I had tried to
probably
eat,
the
and I
door.
had to try to insight that was an 8. I believe her.
That's true.
But I would like to go by and pick over myself
Afterwards?
afterwards.
Afterwards. So first stop Collector, second shop Armor Depot.
Yep.
Okay.
Pile of armor
Pile of shit. Okay.
depot. We're assuming it's already been picked over by the collector, so there's no point in going to that and trying to trade it in. But also might be worthwhile looking at.
Okay. Alright, so you guys cross the river on the bridge, you make your way back down to the collector's tent. Today the front flaps are thrown open so you can see the array of things inside. It's immediately obvious that he does have some new stuff. There are a couple of barrels with swords and spears and even the occasional scimitar. That are just scimitar that are visible easily enough there in kind of the like front entryway, which is really just a slightly wider gap between the piles of things.
We've all been to this store, trust me.
There are a few shields that are kind of hung precariously on a few corners of things. All of the shields have the have I showed y'all Finos' son? I don't think I have. Let me remedy that.
Okay. Carry the shield upside down to insult Finos.
Let's not piss off the god before we actually have his dad out to take our back.
Fuck him.
Not in the fun way.
Look, I'm saying he posed as a college kid and turned back into a dragon and saved us from having to fight that big blood
Not
thing.
that god, the other god.
Right.
Oh!
So this is his
Fire
his
god.
son. Bright brassy and reds and golds and some white enamel going on there. Very, very bright and very, very gaudy. So there's a few shields with his son on them. There are a few, they seem to be like maybe capes that aren't quite as tattered as as like the stuff that you saw on the pile. Again, got the sun on them, as well as smaller like fire motifs along the seams and things like that. Not making noise. Okay. And as you all step in properly, Xana has her hands in her pockets. Daz is still rapidly scribbling. Glenn doesn't seem to want to go in there, kind of bull in china shop vibes. So he just kind of hangs outside. Watcher hands his axe to Glenn. It's like, I'm not selling that. And comes in. But yeah, as you all kind of come in and start looking around, eventually you hear the little tippy-tappies and the collector comes around the far end of the main aisle and has what looks like a brass bracer situated around his neck like a choker, but it's really too large, and so he's kind of like got his head.
But he likes
up.
the way it looks.
But he loves the way it looks.
So it is quite beautiful.
So
comes around.
In addition to his attitude, I like the cut of his jib. This guy
comes around and says, "I saw you a while ago."
Yes, you did.
How are the items?
Wonderful. We're back for more. Hopefully.
Trades.
Yes.
Trades. What trades? Have new things. New things from angry fire people.
Ooh, we have new things. New things from a magical school.
What is school?
A bad decision to make.
Never mind him. We're also traveling with some companions who came from that place. It is a place of learning, where you learn how to do magic.
I don't trade in flesh.
We're not trading the people.
No, we're not kidding.
We're not trading the people.
Why do you think we're going to try to
I
sell
don't know.
kids?
We're not trading the people.
We're
It's
talking
almost-
trades. You're talking people. We are not trading people.
No.
They brought things too.
Yes.
We brought them because they brought things.
Oh.
This is like a joke that was made a week ago after the stream ended.
I did a call back.
No Joe Bidens. No Joe Bidens. Nice. Firstly, I suppose. Yes.
Yep. Do you have a D6 or is it 2D12?
No, there's no D6 in this pile.
Okay.
And yes, it is 2D12s. I found all the ones that match. I was like, okay, these match, we're good. And then I looked down and I was like, I'm missing a D6 and I have 2 D12s.
It is in the bag.
I'm sorry, my ADD kicked in. I looked 2D12s. I was like, that would be dope.
It's cool. It's what I am. That badass. And like, anytime someone says roll a D6, I'm like, nah, fuck you, roll a D12.
So 1 to 2 counts as 1.
Nope.
3 to 4 counts as 2.
Nope. If I hit 12, that motherfucker hits 12. We roll a D12. We roll a D6. 12, bitch. Yeah. It was 12. How'd you get that on a D6? That fucking good. Yeah, man. I'm Martin fucking Dawnwatcher. God dang.
You're killing the DM.
We'll resurrect her later. It's fine. You've got a diamond, right? We'll resurrect her.
Wait, do we have one?
I
Anyway.
don't know what y'all have anymore. That's up to y'all. I ain't
I
keeping
don't know
that
what's in the
mess.
back of this house. That closet is full of all the mysteries.
And D&D terrain.
Firstly, I have this. And I'll pull up the nice, very nice, elegant dagger from Strixhaven with a Strixhaven seal on it.
Comes closer and kind of gets up on his hind legs a little bit to kind of... Yes, trade. For what?
Trade. I need something that improves my ability to stop from getting stabbed, not my ability to stab. Do you have any bracers, shields, better armor, something of that nature?
Do you want pretty fire shield?
No, I'm not exactly a fan of the fire god.
Neither are we, but they are pretty.
They are pretty, but the fire god's symbol is on that shield.
Camouflage.
He's got you there.
Oh God. The. Ooh.
I'm just gonna clip it down to the.
So not fire.
What else do you have? Something pretty.
Scurries away. You hear rummaging. You hear what sounds like the creak of a trunk opening, and then the thump as it closes. Comes back with a. It looks very large in his arms because he is very small. But it is more just like a single buckler.
Okay.
It is well polished, but it's simple brass and wood. He brings it over and turns it around so you can see the straps. And you do see kind of inside the rim where it would be within easy reach of your fingers when you're strapped into it. There's a small depression, almost like a button maybe.
Okay.
Says, "This trade."
Hold it and I examine it. Can I roll investigation? Because I want to see what that button
Go
is.
ahead.
Yeah. Can I push the button and mess with it? I don't want to break
You
things.
can.
I won't push
Just
that button.
Phil. Second, there's a shield with a mysterious button. Phil's just like backing up.
Alright. It's 12 to investigation, and I am going to push the button.
Okay. It definitely seems to be, you can feel like, as you put it on your arm, it almost feels like the straps tighten down a little bit as you get it on, even though you haven't like adjusted anything, but it feels like they mold a little bit. And as you go to kind of thumb that button, the whole thing vibrates, and then it starts glowing. And you can feel a radiant energy, kind of.
As it starts vibrating and glowing, I just reach out and shake his hands. Trade.
And takes the, I don't know where you had the dagger, but
I
takes the
had
dagger.
just like stuck it in the ground from where you're allowed to.
Picks up the dagger and like gently like brushes off the dirt. It's like sheath, and goes and scurries away to find a pretty sheath to put it in.
I hit the button. Hopefully it'll turn it off.
Yes.
And then I look at the students like, and that's how you trade. And then I just walk out the door like I have done what I wanted to do. We are good. Upgrade.
Okay. So.
We'll get.
Yeah. Don't let me forget.
Oh, I won't. It's my thing. I won't.
Got it. All right. Anybody else? The collector comes back after depositing the dagger somewhere safe.
Phil will pull one of the quills with the super awesome refillable ink. Because I bought 3 of them.
And Dawes kind of steps forward and says, I wanted to do that too. She like pulls one out from behind her ear. So.
They are very unique quills.
And she like holds down her notebook and like shows how it writes. The collector does seem very intrigued, but more in a, I don't know when I'll use that, but want it kind of mentality. And so says, for what?
You've met me before. Surprise me with something you think I'll actually find useful.
Oh, that's intriguing.
Oh.
For what? And Dawes says, same answer, I'm up for anything.
I just got a college kid killed because we're both about to get like the deck of, like we're going to get like 3 cards from the deck of mini and I'm going to roll the freaking dungeon and...
College kid's gonna get the wish and not know what it is, and be like 5 days later wishes he had a hamburger and be like, the F.
Alright, so the collector scurries off and comes back with 2 things. One is looks like just a small like personals chest tucked under one arm, and a leather-bound journal in the other. Comes back and holds the journal out to Dawes and then pulls the little chest to you. And along the front of the chest, there are 3, essentially what look like just glass, like micro windows or like portholes, just little tiny openings with glass in them. And the collector snaps his fingers 3 times, once in front of each. Each time, a different colored spark arcs from his fingertips into each of the wells. One of them seems to be fiery, another one seems like a micro, like, arc burst of lightning, and the other one kind of coats with frost. And then the little box opens. It says, puzzle chest, and then closes it back again.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
That's adorable. I want
That's
that.
adorable.
Okay. So it is
That
only...
goes in the lamp.
It is only about this big. Just so you know.
You can put a lot of stuff in there. You put rocks or gems.
As he takes
Weed
the pen from you, and
Damn it, Jay.
he takes the pens from you, and Dawes seems happy with that. And he does tell you, you can change the combination. Just tell it, new puzzle, and you can change the combination.
What does get?
Dawes got a journal. She doesn't seem willing to talk about it, but it's a journal.
You don't ask a girl about her journal.
I just want to know what you got.
She got a leather-bound journal.
It's pretty dope looking.
It's a leather-bound journal.
Good tool work.
She could get more pens and she could write in her journal.
It looked like that because now I get to show off my journal. Anyway, so
Phil will then.
anything else?
Don't need anything.
Zhonya, look at new puzzle.
Watch it. Anything?
No, I'm good with my axe.
That's why you didn't bring it in. Never mind. Thank you, Mr. Collector.
Hold on, wait, we're missing one.
Where'd she go?
The collector scurries off and eventually comes back. There's what seems to be a leash made of light tethering like Sana's hand to him, and he brings her back over, holds out the leash of light.
I'm not taking that. This is all sort of weird.
Stop snooping, and scurries off.
Children shouldn't be on leashes.
Sana says, I had my hands in my pockets.
What'd you touch?
I didn't touch anything with my hands.
I
I opened a box with my foot.
Alright, so
And we're
I'm
leaving.
slightly intrigued, but
No.
we gotta go.
No.
He said we could keep the leash. And she wiggles her hand.
I'm not even touching that one with the unbelievable rod.
Can I have my leash?
No, going to just
No.
pass it over to Glenn.
Here you go, Glenn. Glenn, you have her on a leash.
Is it a light?
This is a weird.
Fun.
This
is
is
a
going a weird
Wait, did
direction.
he just say this is gonna be fun?
This will be fun.
I'm not.
Change subject. Change subject. What's for dinner?
Junk pile.
How about them Braves? Junk pile.
Bye.
Sports ball. Sports ball.
Just
Sports
gonna grab
ball.
Arten and slowly fade backwards. You can deal with your students.
Y'all are
We
taking
made a
it.
touchdown point.
Y'all are taking it way too far.
Mm-hmm.
He literally just
Students
lets her
are on
run
the-
to the end, and then
Students are on the.
Oh, come on, please tell me someone's like, he can hit the button and
he
it,
just starts winding it back.
the hand motion
He
didn't
just-
make that any less fun.
Stop!
That was him. That one was him.
No, I'm just thinking of the really bad, like, Austin Powers dance move.
I've actually never seen a single Austin Powers movie.
You're
unless
not
that's
missing
Spaceballs.
anything.
You're not
You're
missing
You're not.
much. You're not missing much. It's just apparently you're just
I
James
did find
Bond
out the
and
other day
other
that
things.
what was it? Jim Carrey passed up on the Dr. Evil role of Austin Powers.
Nice.
He just passed it up and was like, they didn't have the money in the budget for him in the first time.
Yeah.
The first round, and so old dudes are like, I'll just play it myself.
Yeah.
Okay,
Worked out.
so you go by the Pilo Junk. Most of it does seem to be weapons that were broken, bits of armor that were fractured beyond repair, or at least beyond the repair of anyone here in Korra's hold. The clothes are all torn, blood-stained. There's really nothing salvageable in the pile. Everything that could be used has probably been taken either by the collector or any number of the sailors.
Could we fashion you anything better than what you wear now from the remnants?
No, this is all the same military grade stuff. It's always nice to poke around, just to make sure.
Going to activate my detect magic.
There are no magic items in the pile.
Checking out his shield just to see if there's a school of magic to...
Abjuration.
Abjuration. Right. So, it's abjuration magic.
Is this about Asian magic?
Abjuration magic.
Abjuration.
Racist.
That's what I heard.
It is probably for warding.
Yeah, it's protection.
Yeah, it's a shield.
Yeah, it's got magic that makes it a better shield.
As all shields should. Like, if you gave me a shield that shot fireballs, that'd be freaking awesome, but it wouldn't be a good shield. It'd be a good fireball
No,
shield.
I will say this. That'd be an awesome shield because it's making sure you don't get hit by obliterating whatever out. That's a best defense is a strong offense shield.
Fair point. Fair point. Bad analogy. But still. Okay, good.
So, would you agree a shield that fired a fireball was an awesome shield?
I mean, that we did have a student
It's
that
a better gun than
basically,
a shield.
that a student up in Quandrix that they basically tried to do like a rotary shield that basically shot out a fireball, an ice ball, a lightning ball, a thunder ball, and then also a necromancy ball that got him kicked out of Strixhaven.
I
That's
would have
extra
thought that
as
Quandrix
fuck.
would have just shot out a snake. All those weird snake things running around.
I mean, that kid was weird anyway, that he was just speaking something called like parcel tongue or some shit like that.
I get it.
Anyway, so I mean, you click it, it glows yellow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he was a young teen.
Can you still use your pole arm with it?
I don't know what to be.
It is so because like I hate how 5e does shields. It's a buckler, which means it literally
It's just
sits
So
it
it's a
just straps
buckler.
onto the forearm.
right, and so you don't have to use your hand with it. You have it sitting here and here, and so your hand is still functional in there, and so you can still. It's just not going to give you much rotation because of the way the shield. Will come
And we
with
had talked about
abjuration.
this earlier about fashioning a buckler out of something that I'd killed, and I was like, I don't know how to fashion shit, and I'm gonna roll a 2 on craft, but think it was good, and it's gonna fall apart on me, so I'd rather buy it.
Yeah. Okay. So stats for the shield. It is a +2 shield. It is
Nice.
magically infused, and it does have currently 4 charges. It regains 1d6. Tell me if I'm going too fast.
You're going way too fast. I
Sorry.
just opened my notes. Hold on. Two charges?
So it is a +2 shield. It has currently 4 charges.
Per day?
It regains 1d6 at dawn. Charges. You can expend a charge to push that button, and it essentially generates a radiant burst that will do a d8 of damage to anything within 5 feet.
And is that a reaction?
Yes. Had to think for a minute. Yes.
Okay, +2 shield with 4 charges per day. Regains 1d6 at dawn. Each button push does a d8 damage to anything within 5 feet of reach. as a reaction.
Yes.
You said it was radiant damage?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
To any hostile. So if you're like swarmed, then it will do that D8 to each that's within 5 feet of you. Figure it's a +2 shield. It ought to have some good shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I didn't want a fire shield. Just handed out by the dead-gum military. It's going to be a +0 shield with a pretty flame on the front of it that I don't even like.
It does have a sick flame job on the front, though.
God, it clashes with my whole...
Yeah, but,
Nah.
but if you pick that shield up with that sick flame job on the front, you could go really freaking fast, man.
Toad's going to get laid.
Alright, so back to your tent.
Back to the tent.
You can have dinner. Nothing else really happens. It's just kind of wind down. Do y'all want to declare doing anything before bed? Do you want to declare watches? Anything like that?
Phil will take first watch, but he's still going to be trying to figure out something about that part.
The more time you spend with it, the more you're able to kind of piece together what it does. So what it is it functions like a temp health reservoir. It will absorb 25 hit points worth of damage. Once it absorbs that, it can't absorb any more, but it regains it the next dawn. So it's basically you have a, as long as it's on your person, you have a consistent 25 temp HP.
Alright, okay. Is everybody else asleep by the end of this watch?
Any arguments to that?
I'm just asking, because that dictates actions.
No, I'm going to pass out. I've had a long day.
Same.
Just curl into a big ball on my giant pile of pillows.
Find out
I'm
that
gonna
there's
miss
a
my
college
booksy.
student buried underneath those pillows.
I've got nobody
No,
to
they-
cuddle with. They've got their own tent.
They went back to their own tent. They weren't gonna be imposing.
I just think it'd be funny. He just flops and we hear. But if everybody's asleep, Phil's gonna put his hand on the lantern. Do you have any use for this, or do you want this?
It's a little too big to fit on the lap.
Just asking. Mostly took it for you because it's pretty and it's a gem.
If it ever fractures, I take an eye socket.
Take an eye socket.
Just see, it kind of looks like a skull a little bit too.
Turns it slightly. No, I didn't even. Wow, it's like a picture in picture. But it's useful for. I feel like one of my other party members I'm traveling with could probably get more use out of this with as much damage as they seem to soak. Or how many times they seem to get hit.
I don't know. It seems. I mean, it's just crystal.
Hey, it's got something sloshy in it though.
Maybe it's some blood. Maybe some blood fell out of the goblet.
Should have gotten the goblet.
The goblet did have some pretty rubies, but I'm not blaming you. There was a lot of shit going on there.
That was fucking bananas. Tal'gor ate a guy.
I know. So bloodthirsty. Did you see him wipe the blood on the mask he took too? Like, that's a little vulgar. Just walking around with it on his belt.
He has javelins made out of things we've already killed on this adventure.
To be fair, so does the cat. Put those spider things on his spear.
Hey, he also has the cloak made out of the things that nearly killed us. That sucked. Again, alright, I'm gonna give this to one of them because it might be more useful for one of them to have it because some of them get way too close to the front of anything.
Alright. I tell you what. If you ever go to the place where the big lizards are, you know, the large ones with the big teeth and the claws.
Isla Nova?
Yes. You ever go there? Get me some of those claws. I always thought they would look quite dashing, arrayed in a fringe around the rim.
Correct me if I'm wrong, that would be Ixalan?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
They got dinos.
Also, gonna fish through all the dinsos. Got some rubies, a garnet, a tamarite, a sapphire, and a I'm assuming that's a Vegelite, but I think I wrote Vegemite.
It might be Vergalite.
It is. It's Vergalite. But
Vegemite.
it looked like I had Vegemite. Just pulls out a Vegemite. Oh, why the fuck do I have this terrible shit?
Gross.
So
Just open it next to.
So Vergalite is a green tourmaline. Looks like it's basically like a slightly clearer emerald.
Okay.
Is what it kind of looks like.
Just I got those. Would any of those be of use in any portion up here?
That's sapphire. It's so blue.
Right there.
A little to the left.
That one.
Yes.
You gotta hit the right spot.
That one wasn't me this time. That wasn't me. I am innocent.
You just do. Just do. If you said a little bit to the left, you go a little bit to the left. That's the rule.
So Phil will then bump somebody who's supposed to be taking the next watch.
I'm not going to be that finicky about it. Nothing's going to happen tonight. Y'all are okay.
And then
Like, literally, if you bumped me, I was like, if something happens, all the centaurs will wake up. Don't mess with me today.
I'm like over next to Tal'gor.
Nothing. He's just out as a rock.
No, I'm just like Phil was gonna wake up Tal'gor and here's Arten say that like from across the tent, like right? And then Phil's gonna work on let's see, it's performance.
Sleep.
You said
Some of us meditate for 4 hours and are fine. Just saying.
some of us get giant retractable claws and get to be a powerhouse tank. Some of us get to be a little beautiful elf boy with lustrous hair.
It fits. Alright.
That's a 21.
The sapphire does not put up any fight. You're able to shape it to fit properly and get it set without any issues.
And then Phil will trance.
Conk. All right. Anything else before morning, guys? All right. Cool. Let us take a short break, and come back.
Mute. Not mute.
Good.
Smarties. I used to just devour those. I'm good.
All right.
Every time I look in my kid's candy bag, which is literally every night, I stare at the Smarties and I think I should bring this to my GM, and then I don't because it's like a Wednesday. It's always like a Tuesday, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? Shove it in my pants? Like, I just hope this gets to her.
Hide it in your sock drawer.
No,
The kids will never find it.
I thought this like a Wednesday night, and I was like, okay, so tomorrow morning I'll get up, grab these Smarties, put them in my bag, and have like a handful of Smarties for the DM. And so I put like 3 or 4 Smarties by the coffee pot so I can grab them on the way home, on the way out. Oh, great idea, right? No. No. Why? Because I wake up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. My 2 sons wake up in unison at like 5 o'clock in the morning, to where I wake up, all the lights in the house are on most of the time, and then or you walk into the kitchen and you're making something to drink, and the kid just goes, "Hey, Daddy!" And fuck you. So on this particular morning, I woke up, I was getting everything ready, and the Smarties weren't there, and my kids weren't anywhere to be seen. And I walk into their bedroom, and my boys are just like huddled into a corner like they're found treasure or something. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "Nothing." And I just looked over their shoulders like, "That's my fault. You're not in trouble. That was my fault. I put candy where you could get it, and there was no one around you to say no. So there's that."
Also, your kitchen. You have a nice kitchen. You have 2 points. Children can pop up out of nowhere. You would not see them.
They
He has. You can walk through his kitchen to the dining room to the living room. They have a certain. So I'm just imagining. Surrounded.
It's
Father,
the worst
father,
ones.
Father.
Oh, if they said father, they're going outside. Yeah, sun's not up, but you're out there. Go. Start off the day with father. You're possessed. We don't advocate slapping children in the face.
These are all only stories told for comedic value.
But the hey daddy thing, because it's always like dead quiet, nothing happening. You're walking through the room, you're trying to be quiet, you're not turning on any lights, and then you turn on the kitchen light because it's farthest away from everything else. You turn the kitchen light on, and there's your like my 5-year-old. He's 3 years old, but he's as tall and big as his 5-year-old. And just going, "Hey, Daddy!" And nothing but underwear on. Spider-Man tiny whities and like, "What's going on? I'm awake. You're awake. We're all awake. Can I watch a show?" I'm like, "No. The sun's not quite up, and neither should you be. Go to bed, boy."
All right.
Sorry.
After story time, we are back. It is the morning after you all got back to Korra's hold. You got a full night's sleep. You got your long resties, all that good jazz. And in the morning, names. Visera she comes to y'all's tents. Just a little bit after y'all wake up, she's got more of the are y'all okay?
Just slap it off. It's fine.
Good. Putting my newfound bracer on and adjusting my stuff.
That was more your DM asking, "Are y'all okay?"
Oh,
He stuck the dice to his head again, and I was trying to clip it at the right moment.
Okay, got it. All right. So Visera arrives with some more of the bread and honey, some more goat's milk.
it is the milk and honey.
Hey, sorry, out of character. Remind me at the end of the last fight, how was everybody actually looking?
I was at 30
Out
of 56 before my level up.
I had a -4 to my intelligence, but I was about at half my HP, which isn't bad for me. Like, I couldn't think straight, but I was fine. Like, I had been healing myself throughout the fight, so like, or drinking stuff and whatnot. So
yeah.
Now Phil and Arten are the only two that got downed so far. Well, no, you were down by the Shadow Chimera.
Yes.
But didn't have to make a death save.
Tal'gor's nearly gone down a couple of times.
Yeah, but
right
he
on
has
the
been
edge.
like surviving. He's been living on the edge. Literally.
He rode the vulture.
He did.
Arten's probably the one that's soaked the most damage out of all
Yeah,
of us.
that.
I do that.
Phil is going to come up to you while reading. Alright, so I spent a solid amount of time
On the bread.
looking over the heart last night. Also, by the way, look, turn it this way.
Just
Look
take
at
it.
like a skull.
So as I'm taking a giant bite of bread and honey, and there's like sticky honey coming off my man. The fuck?
It's a heart. Skull.
You should have left that thing in the fire.
No, it gives you a little extra health when you're fighting. It'll absorb some of the damage that you would normally take, and I was going to offer this to you, because you're kind of in everything's fucking face.
I don't know how I do it, but what am I gonna do with it? It's just,
Put it in like a bag.
you just carry it?
Yes, I think.
Do I have to activate it? Are there magic words?
No. I'm looking.
Are
at
you
the
just
DM.
saying no, or you just?
I'm looking. I am looking to God, who told me how this worked before we took a break.
It does not require a word of activation. It does need to be attuned, but attuned as in carry it with you for a while. You don't actually have to do any study or anything on it. It doesn't bond to you in any...
I don't need to like wear it as a
way.
necklace or show it to just put it in my pocket.
As far as I know, I mean, I could fasten the chain.
No, I don't want to fasten the heart skull chain. Give me...
But if you turn it this way...
Thank you. I appreciate it. This is great. But it's early, man. Just... Can you do that thing to make the water taste like dirt?
Coffee.
That you just see, just like Zhonya, just basically just like set up, just basically like candles and all of that. While that she just basically has her pocket watch, focus on in it. She is using Cast Familiar to bring back Zarina.
Nice.
And then that just that you just see just like literally just like sand, that this ethereal sands just form back up probably a beefier Zarina. You will get those stats later. Just like a beefier Zarina, just like, oh, Dad, you're back.
Just like a phoenix, it rises from the ashes.
And
more like that from just more just like the sands of time.
It got killed and got yoked. What is it, a saying?
What is a saying?
Don't worry about it. They're kind of annoying.
I mean, that just as long as then that... No, I don't know.
Anyway, I'm going to set the puzzle box down and do the new code, all cantrips that I have.
Okay. You will need to
cinnamon,
write that down
saffron,
somewhere so that you have it.
mint.
No.
It'll be like... It will just be like cinnamon, kush, and dirt.
Cinnamon cushion dirt.
Cinnamon cushion coffee.
Yeah.
For you, DM, it is radiant, acid, fire.
Okay.
Because I can do all those cantrips.
Got it.
I think it might be a good idea to stick the heart shard in here until we take it back to where it needs to be, unless...
Oh, the heart shard, not the heart skull.
Oh.
No, you get to keep that.
Okay.
I mean, that's fair.
Smart.
I know how to open it.
Okay.
Sure.
That works.
So I give you the heart shard.
Just put it in. I don't want to touch it.
You don't want to touch. You don't want to. I'm just fucking with you. Here you go.
I swear to God, you will sleep to cinnamon every night if you don't touch me with that.
It's already in the box. Calm yourself.
So now, close it. I need to test something.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who can test it. He's got the compass.
Okay.
Stand over there.
Phil's gonna...
We'll pull out the compass.
Mm-hmm.
Does it point to him?
It does, and then it does, but this is also the only one on the plane y'all are on. You won't have a true test until you're on another.
I was just trying to see. Alright, so it can still be detected through the box.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright, I had hopes, but it's still a super cool box that they can't open.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, that... But since that time had basically juxtaposed itself, like... I don't know the word for that right now, but...
Boosie.
But it's anyway, then that... As soon as Erebos gets back with a parent... Did you translate that information to
here
us?
was days over there.
We slept once.
Yes, but it's been weeks since we left.
It had been 2
and it's
weeks.
been only...
I think y'all had a couple of days.
We had a couple of days at
Did we?
Strixhaven, yeah.
You did your...
Well, we slept the first day, then we went back. Wait, no. We rented it.
Right.
We went and did our stuff, came back to bed.
Right.
After going to the bar...
What I'm trying to say is that if he told me yesterday that they were going to be leaving soon over there, then it may be a while before he shows up.
It could be a week. Seems like it might be a week to a day.
I need to tell him. So I'm going to try to use my sending stone again because it's been a day. Maybe it works. I don't know. I don't know how this magic rock works.
It regains every dawn is what the rules is written.
Well, it's
so.
dawn.
You would know, Dawnwatcher.
Yes. I watched the dawn.
Do the D100.
It's a 69.
Nice.
That
It's beautiful.
appropriates.
Couldn't happen to a nicer tiefling. Alright. I'm ready.
We found out that time passes faster in Israel than in Strixhaven. It seems a week here is a day there.
Four more words if you want them.
I miss you,
One more.
Boosie.
Okay. You speak to the stone, and on the back side, you hear there's a it's Erebos speaking to you, but you can also hear a kind of sounds like an old woman, kind of in the background. You hear a very elderly female voice. But Erebos says, I've told the one who is transporting me there, she will make the adjustments. I'll see you soon.
Okay. I'm just gonna trust what you trusting. You trusting and I'm trusting. That's what we're trusting.
And at that point, there is a bit of commotion from down the camp. You can hear it like outside the tent and farther back toward the front of the village space. I assume none of you all are staying in the tent. You're all
No.
I'm running directly towards that with my weapon and my new shield because I don't know what's coming at us. It could be the sun god.
There's a commotion, but as you get closer, it doesn't seem to be a hostile commotion. It almost sounds excited and curious. Lots of voices. You see, as you're getting closer, you're kind of seeing over a crowd of people that have kind of coalesced near Prince Kalia's tent, and what you're seeing appears to be two very tall guards. They are definitely not Zraelin. They are wearing full plate and helms that cover all of their faces except their lower jaws. And the helms are shaped like dragons. One of them is a very bright crimson mask and armor set. The other is a bluish greenish. It kind of shimmers like a dragonfly kind of coloring. And standing between them, barely visible, kind of past the crowd, appears to be a kind of hunched elderly figure, white hair. Can't make out much of their face at this point. But as you all are kind of way is being made through the crowd for you all, you're all recognized for you know who you are. The kids from Strixhaven are basically following at your heels. And as the crowd kind of parts, Erebos comes zooming from wherever he'd been standing near these three individuals, leaps into your arms, not even caring that you've got spear at the ready.
No, it's already.
Yeah. Would be the first time
And
he jumped the
just
spear.
arms around neck and just buries his face in the crook of your neck.
Adorable.
There's gonna be a catch him. I'm gonna do the quick like spin thing. We're gonna spin and then not saying a word to anybody. I'm gonna fling his feet up and
Nice.
carry him in a cradle, and we're gonna walk that way, just away from everyone else. Don't even care about the rest of y'all. I'm not talking to anybody. This is you have the conversations and find out about the old lady.
There is a large bag of stuff that is at the feet of the guard in red armor. It floats on a like a shimmering disc. After Arten and Erebos, seems to have like stuff sticking out of it, like the pelts and things. But it is a large bag of stuff.
Okay.
And it floats away after them. Okay, so what Zhonya and Tal'gor and Phil see, this is a hunched over little old lady. She is wearing, let me go find, she's got a cute little picture in here. There we go. She is wearing mostly blue with like some gold accents. And she is very much looks ancient. Seems to kind of waver on her feet. She's got a little bit of a cane. And at least you both can see that there are sigils and arcane runes over the whole entire cane. Every bit of it is glowing in some different color. Her various sashes and wraps have embroidered runes. And there is a very large, like, teleportation circle, basically, kind of burned into the grass. That, as you're watching, is healing itself and new grass is taking the place. Prince Kalia has also just kind of made her way to the forefront. Her guards are standing at attention. And the little old lady seems to kind of, it doesn't seem like she'd be able to see much. Her eyes are kind of squinty. But she was kind of watching Erebos run off, and then she says, "All right, that's one thing taken care of. There they are." And the four kiddos come ducking around your group, and they all four take a knee once they're kind of in the space. And you hear murmurs of Oracle.
What?
Oracle. They definitely seem a little awestruck. Prince Kalia kind of says, "Well, I suppose that takes care of things, doesn't it?" And the Oracle says, "Indeed, couldn't very well leave them here. They need to come home. They have classes to attend. But I do need to
Best
speak.
truancy, I'll say.
I do need to speak with these three, if there is a place for that where prying ears won't listen."
Immediately feel like we're going to the principal's office.
Prince Kalia kind of starts having her guards kind of disperse the group. She says, if you would like to use my tent, you're more than welcome. Otherwise, any one of these are open. And the Oracle says, "This one will do nicely," and just kind of points to a random tent and starts walking that way. Her guards, you get the feeling that they're staring at each of you. There's like a trickle of magic that kind of goes over each of you. It doesn't seem to leave a mark. It doesn't seem to do anything, but you get the feeling that you're known and recognized.
We just got scanned.
And so, if the three of you follow the Oracle to the tent, the kids kind of hang back, and she says, "We'll go home in a minute. You all can wait. Just make new friends or say goodbye or whatever it is you wish to do." And she just keeps moving toward the tent. Xana follows Prince Kalia for a little bit, like she's maybe thinking about trying something, but Glenn still has the leash and just doesn't let her go. So you three follow the Oracle and the guards into this random tent. And as you all three step over the threshold, you feel kind of a pulse, and warding kind of goes up around the tent. the Oracle just takes a seat on like a random stool, has her cane kind of in front of her, and she says, "So, we've had some adventures, haven't we?"
Hey.
Yes, ma'am. We have.
I'm not in this
I know.
conversation. If my luck's playing right, I'm getting laid. I'm not in this conversation. I don't know what y'all talking about.
With my memory coming back, would I would have known about this oracle or anything like that?
Yes. You know that her name is Jadzi. I believe you had already figured out about the guy who was heading up the Orc, had you not? Or was that
I
somebody
don't
else?
think that was somebody
Okay.
else.
Her powers are mythical?
Very much. Essentially, she is the Oracle is appointed by the Founder Dragons. Is a person of extremely high moral rectitude, who is essentially devoted to ensuring that all of the magic taught and learned at Strixhaven is used for the greater good, whatever realm the person or people are from. And so essentially these Auric individuals were entirely the opposite. And so, but yeah, so you would know her name at least. She's held the position for at least 20 years. And the Oracle is always a master of nearly all magic possible. It's said that they can cast any spell after hearing it once, kind of thing. In any case, so she says, I was informed as the deans were finishing their investigations of what was left after you all took down the Auric menace. I figured you all were owed an explanation if you didn't already have one. However, I do need to ask, there were a number of tomes and scrolls that should have been in their headquarters and were not. You all wouldn't happen to have any notion of where those might be, would you?
We have every single one of them. Of course, that's up to y'all to tell. I'm not playing that gun.
I mean, Oracle Jazzy, that we basically ransacked it and basically had collected all of them for safekeeping, because I'm pretty sure that the deans of Strixhaven would have wanted it.
Many of those tomes were either copies or bastardizations of volumes that belong in the Biblioplex. I will try to make this easy. They need to be returned, and they will be returning with me. Please remove them from your possession now.
Before the please was even said, Phil's already stacked. Because this is not a question. Like Phil's like, fuck, we are in trouble.
Yeah, just here it is. All
Very
neatly
technically, I
stacked.
think I have a few, but let's just say all of them.
Arten, I can't remember. Did you have any of them?
We put them in all the bags, and so I probably have a handful in my bag of holding.
That our Leonin warrior, Arten Dawnwatcher, that he may have some with him.
She motions to the kind of iridescent armored individual and says,
"Oh, he's gonna get a show."
and says, "Is this all of it?" And the guard kind of walks around, holds his hands in front, and you see the images of a few more books kind of shimmering, and those like insubstantial images lift and kind of spread themselves out. And he says, it seems most of the missing articles were things that are already included in full at the Biblioplex, Mistress. And the Oracle says, it's fine, consider them a present. Those are not essential. And she snaps her fingers, and all of the books and items that you all have pulled out kind of fold in on themselves and disappear. I thank you for not making this difficult. That is...
I mean,
that would hardly be the way I would wish to deal
I mean
with.
that's understandable. I mean, with me just regaining my memory, knowing that I used to teach at Strixhaven about 5 years ago.
Oh, you were the one who went missing.
Yes, Oracle.
If you ever wish to come back, you know you have a place. Though I do believe the house was sold.
That's so I have heard.
You might have to fight for it again.
I mean, fight for it and then just basically,
I'm teasing you,
I
dear.
Feels like our ring down no go mug dude for house.
Steal house for
Friend.
I thought it would be beneficial if I cleared up any questions you all had regarding what transpired. I know you probably have quite a few questions.
As far as I understand it, you had a sanguine cult that developed out in the swamps with a former professor or a very disgruntled student leading it, and
Yes.
now it's gone.
His name was Extus. He was a comrade of mine from early on in our schooling. We went our separate ways after graduation until the time came for a new oracle to be assigned and vested by the founder dragons. He put forth his cap, I put forth mine. The dragons chose me, and he felt quite ostracized from that, apparently. He
Hey,
spoke out quite vehemently and at length, and merely proved to the dragons right that he was not worthy of the mantle. His selfishness knew no bounds.
oh, it knew some bounds. Tal'gor was that bound.
In any case, my gratitude to you for protecting not only the 4 students who were with you, but the entirety of Strixhaven itself.
She doesn't have 5 students with us. That's because the 5th student just was a fucking god.
Now, I do believe there were more happenstances there under the hill. Would you all like to speak of that or not?
He tried to summon a blood demon,
I meant beyond that.
and we had a magical escape way to get out when the ground started breaking, so I accidentally took your kids.
Yes. These Raylan gods have touched base a lot of places over the years. Gynos is an old comrade as well. I sometimes wonder if he didn't give the Lamachus Lawhold all the ideas for the colleges. They both quite enjoy their books and history.
But that's all I have.
You do not wish to speak of the Planeswalker.
That one of
Planeswalker?
basically that the student that was Kai was actually that
I'm pretty sure that was Kairos.
That would be false. It was no god. That god is bound. Or at least in this universe.
Like, as far as I know, gods do weird shit, so I was on board with that's what happened.
I mean, I studied a little bit of theology, but that's the first time that I've heard of that.
You taught at Quandrix.
Yes, Oracle.
Possibilities and happenstances. These create chaotic energies. These create alternatives.
Right.
Not every life turns out the same, even if it's the same life. Lived a different place, lived a different time.
Exactly. It's just all about the endless possibilities of that the timeless, if you would, opportunities that we all have. Sometimes that we can reverse the clock a little bit, but not just by too much, or else that you will end up like what happened with me.
The other who was with you was not attempting to reverse any clock, merely observing alternatives to what happened to him, at least as far as I can tell. I've met a few planeswalkers in my time. They are a unique breed. They have power that is far more unpredictable, but also more advantageous in certain avenues. And that one, I do believe, was somehow connected to the one you seek to free. But it was not that one, if that makes sense.
Yes, Oracle, it does.
I fear you have not seen the last of that one. Pray hope the next time he is as helpful. If there is no other questions I could attempt to answer for you, I will take my students and return them where they belong.
May I make a request before you go?
You may.
Since we helped the university, what university or universities?
That the campus
One
as a
and
whole.
both.
Since we helped Strixhaven in such a manner, can my ally not have a claim put in the reclaim her home for when she returns when we are done here?
No, that I will let that go.
The home was purchased.
I can
legally.
start over anew.
I was trying.
It's okay, but thank you.
Although that does remind me, I nearly forgot. Benefits of old age. I have an excuse. I did wish to offer you all, on behalf of Strixhaven, if there is any favor that can be done that would not break those laws or legalities, I would be more than happy to do so for you.
She snaps her fingers again, and a single scroll appears in front of the three of you.
Mm-hmm.
A way to contact me no matter where you are, no matter when you are. If there is ever a favor I can do for you, something that maybe you cannot do for yourself, write it upon the scroll and burn it in a blue flame. And it will be done, if it is within my power.
Like, knowing about the character that you're playing at the moment, trying to think of things that are outside of her power.
She's essentially giving y'all a wish.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's on there.
That's what I was getting. Like, I feel like this is just
She-
a wish
You
because
have a wish.
old girl.
Don't let Phil have that, because it'll just be Wedgie, the Dean of Witherbloom, publicly.
Wedgie,
Which
the fire
one?
public.
Slap Finos in specifically the right nut.
Just the right.
Just enough
Well,
that it makes him uncomfortable extensively but doesn't fully hurt. Which is way worse.
thank you, Oracle Chizeri, for this gift.
Jadzi.
Jadsi. Excuse
Wrong
me.
J name, sorry.
It's okay. It's payback. Anyway.
Says the Z name person.
Says the Z name.
If you get another familiar that starts with another Z, I'm gonna laugh.
It is going to be zebra. Anyway.
No, it's
continue.
gonna start with an X, but still sound like a Z.
Xiphon.
With all of that, then, I will take my leave, and if you ever find your way back to Strixhaven, I'll try not to set the dogs on you.
And she gets up and totters out, essentially calls over the kids, and as most of the singers are looking on, casts another teleportation circle, and the 7 of them disappear in a flash of light. So yes, you basically y'all get to keep the books that Arten had in his bag, and you've got essentially a scroll for wish.
Wish girl.
Well, that.
Call this a win.
That you know what? That being honest always gets us, and if you will excuse me, I have research to do. And she just go run straight towards wherever those books are.
Oh God.
Wait. No.
No. So you get to the tent, and the doors are shut, and there's, you know, the sock on the doorknob thing? We did something kind of like that, to where it's tied with something that's obvious, supposed to be a warning of, like, something going on in here. And
It's Erebos's bright green sash.
yeah, it's tied. The tent is tied with Erebos's bright green sash. What do you do?
God help me.
Is that a 1? Oh, God. Yes, it is. No, it's not. It is a 7. It's a 7.
It's a 7.
So
It's
it is a 12. So it is a 12 that she's going to be like, no,
It wasn't a 1.
no.
A 1, she doesn't even notice the sash, but a 12. Okay.
I'm like, no.
You know,
I'm going to let them have their fun.
we can research later.
But that research can wait.
Phil's still just back over where I'm assuming
Just
the
slowly
television's
go. No.
Phil's just over by where the stuff's growing back in.
Not sure if Phil went no, like sincerely, or if
He
he
just,
went
no, he's like,
no,
no,
wait,
don't, stop.
Stop,
Don't.
wait,
Go, leave,
come
go, look
back.
at, go. Hey, Tal'gor, listen real quick. You hear that? That's the sound of not having the hyper one with us.
Alright,
Because if she was here any longer, there'd be a little tumor forming right here.
okay. So, we're gonna. Neysa brain is dying, but we're gonna kind of streamline this a little bit.
Cool.
Prince Kalia tells you all that the voice of Luifa did say that y'all would have access to the gates tomorrow if you would make your decisions for that. And so literally you've just got to fill another day. And so is there anything more that you all want to say that you're doing? Anything y'all want to discuss? Aside from reunion sex?
That's our.
I'm assuming the floating disc is drop the stuff off inside the tent. So
yeah. I'm going to give the books to the bookworm, and the links. That's leather now,
Yes.
because that's been dried up for a while.
Yes.
And so I'm going to spend the day trying to fashion something out of that so I can wear it.
Okay. So your choice, either performance or
I will
dexterity,
assist.
like sleight of hand. Crafting day. You can roll me investigation for your research day.
Okay, but that's going to be a 25.
You have advantage.
Like a belt or something. I don't know. Some kind of thing.
Oh, did you make something out of the links already? This is out of the...
This is the links.
Okay.
It takes a while for leather to actually happen, and I kept forgetting to say I put this up at night, and so I wanted to play that correctly. When we were finally in Strixhaven, it was just up on the balcony for 2 days straight, and that's
Right.
what I really needed.
Correct. Okay. Spence, Zhonya, roll me a d4, please.
Much better. It's a 13.
4.
How much?
4.
I got a 13.
Okay. Being as it's your first time with leather working, you botch a few of the edges and seams. Is it? Do you have anything that you could argue?
Hold on. No, I went with Smith's tools. You're right. I wanted to make sure about what tools I'd picked up.
Being as it's your first time working with leather, you end up, you can tell me what it is you're wanting to try to make.
Okay. So, you ever seen one of those, like, scarves that's made out of an actual fox where it has the head on it and the tail on it and something like that? Mm-hmm. Okay, can you imagine that? Okay.
Yeah.
So that, but, see the sash on Arten on the picture?
Yeah.
That thing right there, I want to make that into the...
A few of the edges get a little roughed up and lose some of the hair as you're kind of, you're trying to like mold it into shape and like holding it a little too rough. You end up slipping some of the hair off. But overall, it comes out looking, functional, and you're able to put it together functionally. It's not really going to give you a benefit of any sort. It's just pretty.
No
or
benefit.
the benefit, any other benefit aside from the things that we already talked about.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be doing anything but looking pretty. Because until I've used it, I don't know a thing.
Right.
Well, wait. I have the ability to look at things.
You do. As you're working it, you feel like some of the, poof magic that the thing had before maybe is still retained in its skin and fur. So it might be able to help you out with that.
Huh.
Okay, so you rolled a 4, right?
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Look at what it does.
Roll me one more d6.
A D6?
What's the
1.
Okay. As you're looking through the books, most of it is seems to be just copies of a lot of the lower level spell books for the different colleges. You do find a scrap page kind of stuffed in one of the books. That is essentially a spell scroll for Revivify.
Okay.
I gotta write down Cash's form.
And just to make it easy here, you're literally the level of a professor. You could add that to your spell book directly. You'd be able to cast it.
Okay.
It's a 3rd level spell.
So
yeah, Revivify.
on my bardic things, I went with stuff that's just me shouting at things. Because most of the time when I'm fighting, I'm yelling at people anyway. I was like, obviously, I
Let's see
just
here. So if I was to basically just do this time rune and just basically try to reverse that blood back in there, and okay, so that's how that works.
The phrase "reverse the blood back in there" is disturbing.
Well, it is just dealing with chronomancy. I mean,
just saying, think about the person. Would they feel it? Oh, that'd be so weird. If you reverse blood back in.
I did hear about those monks before that they can basically use their key to basically control you with just your own blood.
Blood bending.
Huh.
Blood bending. It must be iguanin, something like that.
Alright. Anything else through the day while y'all are basically just having downtime and killing time?
Well, you know what? Try my luck. I still need to put more wire in this bitch. Nat 20. Finally. Thank you, little dwarven man on the dice.
You are able to successfully are you wanting to outline all of the edges? Are you wanting to
the wires, twisting the wire, and then it I figure each panel has kind of a
a scroll work thing going on?
At least has one kind of loop swirl over the glass.
Being as y'all pretty much have an entire day, you're able to finish all of the just wire work that you wanted to do.
Right.
You're able to get all that done.
Just looking at it, saying that there's still a few empty facets, the glass is fixed, but
and she wanted the necklace of talons and teeth.
Yeah, I gotta add that to it.
You can put a space for that to where like there's little
But
notches in the wire or whatnot.
I would say anybody that looks at Phil's lantern long enough, anything that is missing has a very specific place that is absent.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill a T-Rex and get its teeth for you.
Before that, that we go back to rest.
I'm gonna get ganked by some
Do we want to essentially collect all of them or turn them in one by one?
I think time-wise, we might as well just go and get them all.
Yes, because of the time it takes to just go there and come back.
That sounds fair.
And it's not like we could just throw it down a hole.
No.
I mean that all that I do just need to just find just an old rustic hourglass, and then I can try to find something that I have remembered that could probably help us out in the future.
Oh, that's fantastic.
What if?
But it will have some drawbacks.
But what if, when we get to the new plane, I pull up the compass and it just points at the box?
I'll put the box in my bag of holding where it is now. The only reason I wanted you to test it last night is I wanted to see if the gem or the shard was still detectable.
Pull out my compass while it's in the bag of holding, and I want to see what the compass does. It just spins in circles.
Bag of holding is technically a demi-plane.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
I just wanted to see if the box shielded anything, and it doesn't. It just locks it away.
But it's good. It's good to know.
I mean that.
It's a damn good trade for a pen.
Oh, it
Oh.
sure as hell is. It's just the first thing he said is you could hide your weed in it, and I'm like, Phil doesn't have any, but yeah, that would have been up on the
It's
list.
a damn good push. Put it in the lockbox.
Put your weed in there, man.
So right next to the heart of a god, we have
Smoke 'em if you got 'em, boy!
we have the stickiest of the icky.
We got Heart of a God, and this one's called Heart of a God.
We got that one from Glitter Gold. It's the gnomish shit.
I met this guy in the woods. He
I
called
just
himself
find one
Radagast.
another-
Man, he got some good stuff.
Anything
that
else
good top
before
for
bed,
time
my
magic?
darlings?
That is all.
That's it.
That might be
That
your
is it.
Alrighty.
You had some fast
So-
rabbits.
What is going to be sleeping order or not?
Phil will take first watch, as usual.
I will take the Dawnwatch.
Take
Of course.
As
second
on
watch.
Okay, so would it be safe to say that everybody except Erebos and Phil are sleeping
Right.
at one time? Okay. Alright. Then, Great. Hey, Ewan, leave the room, boy.
Oh, okay. I'll leave.
Get
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
I'll be a suspicious little baby. Okay. Because I'm actually obeying the rules. Okay. You all went to sleep with, in Arten's case, with Erebos kind of leaned up against your middle or your back while he's still awake, but you're sleepies. And he feels guilty for having left y'all hanging, so he's like, I'm back to doing my watch thing all the time. And so with the three of you asleep, dreaming your own dreams and having your own rest, you each feel your mind awoken but your body not. And you have kind of the out-of-body experience of like astral projecting above yourself before you feel pulled away. The three of you know that the other two, each of you know that the other two are there, and you know that you're being taken away from your bodies and your two waking companions. And as you are pulled out of the tent and through the sky, you kind of feel, you get the sensation of being ripped beyond a veil, like a gauze that just breaks across your back, and you're not looking at anything that looks familiar anymore. You're kind of hovering in astral form, essentially, in the middle of a feels very large, very echoey space, and there are mirrors of different sizes and shapes all around you. Below you, covering like the floor of this space, is just this murky miasma of looks like shadows made into like goop form. And from behind some of the mirrors, you can see a figure also floating, coming closer and closer, until they kind of enter this central space with you, and it's Kai, the drow kid with the slightly darker hair and the red streak. His eyes are solid black and not the normal blue, same as they were when he was undergoing whatever that transformation was. His mouth does not open, but you hear his voice in your minds, and you get the feeling that you'll be able to speak in the same way. He says, "I can't hold this for long, but I wanted to explain. As best I could. I don't know if you'll understand."
Go on.
Speak your truth.
There are many different ways things happen. Different realities, you could say. In mine, the one in which I was born, my parents were some that were tasked with trying to free Kairos. They succeeded, but in the final fight, my mother, who was pregnant with me, chose to allow Kairos to use her flesh to do what he couldn't otherwise. Once he's out of the space below, he can't interact in the physical world without something to work through. He is nothingness. He cannot therefore be something. That affected me. And I was born different. I'm not him, but part of him is me. And when I said to the purple one that I didn't like people messing with God's shit, that's why. I knew what you all were looking for, and I wanted to see what choices you all would make. All of these mirrors, all of these other realities are instances that aren't mine. I'm trying to see if there was ever a place where I wouldn't have existed, where someone like me wouldn't have existed. I haven't found one yet. Someone always changes in the end. It's not fair. Choices get taken away, and it's not fair. I don't like it. I won't stop you. I can't stop you. But I will be watching. Do you understand?
Yes, for the most part.
I just nod.
I can't grab the purple one. He's an elf.
He would only have something sassy to say.
That is true.
I think it would also terrify him. So, right. You don't have to explain it to him. I don't expect him to understand. He's got his own things going on. But it felt wrong to not be able to explain. I didn't mean to leave you all hanging, but couldn't let that thing go storming Strixhaven.
That is true.
We appreciate the help. That thing would have been a hard thing to go about.
Likewise.
I hoped I wouldn't have had to give myself away, but there we are. So,
can't hold you much longer. But everywhere you go, if I can catch up, I will. And I'll watch. Maybe I'll help, maybe I won't. Leave it to you to figure it out. But if you can find a way, if you can find a way for him to rise and not destroy someone's life, I'll be rooting for that. And you feel yourselves being essentially pushed back out of this liminal space.
What, no, what happened to your mom?
More questions to be answered later. On the next
Next episode.
Next
Dragon
episode.
Balls.
Next episode of Tears of Kairos.
In any case, you all basically are pushed back into your bodies. You don't wake up immediately. There's like a bit of a reset and kind of a please hold for connection moment. But eventually, you each either fall back into your normal sleep or wake up. I'll leave that up to you guys, or a constitution check, or however you want to do it.
Con.
Hey, Hewitt!
Hey, you guys.
You are free to come back.
Surprisingly, that she is dead asleep on that.
Alright, cool. Cool.
That's a 26 on a constitution check.
So you kind of have like the lucid dreaming thing going on. You can either wake up or go back to sleep.
I think I would wake up.
Okay.
Just to like get a sense of where I am in the world, and then
Back in bed.
and then snuggle right back in. Just like this whole.
Pharaoh's pets through your mane. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's a weird dream.
Okay. Go to sleep. I'm not gonna let anything get you. Okay. Alright, again, not gonna have anything happen to y'all overnight. We will, if I could go ahead and have y'all talk to me about where y'all are thinking y'all should go next. And then we'll try to actually make a definitive decision with Nate through the Discord server.
Sure.
Sure.
So what? Let me pull up.
We
I have it
got
here.
Waterdeep, Exandria, Ixalan, Shadowfell, Feywild.
I mean,
Bill's vote is going to be Ixalan.
Yeah, there are 5, but you're only looking for 4 more shards.
Yeah.
But you have 5 options.
Okay, so Phil's voting for Ixalan. I'm gonna have to ask why.
But you keep seeing that there's dinosaurs there.
Okay, so Jed knows there's dinosaurs.
Oh,
there,
I'm sorry. I thought
doesn't.
Arten had been
Sorry.
saying. Okay,
Sorry.
that's
Well,
my
no,
bad.
you-
Jed's excited about dinosaurs. Arten
You
doesn't know.
did verify with Shelly that the Isha whatever place is where she's wanting you to get those. So you would know.
You would know.
Yeah.
Arten wouldn't.
right, that we
necessarily
wouldn't
know.
know.
Okay.
That's I'm trying to play this right.
Right.
I'm sorry. I thought that Arten had been going off about dinosaurs, but
Sorry.
that was Jed going off about
Jed,
dinosaurs.
geeking out.
wants to go
Jed-
to the
Jed wants to kill a dinosaur.
I mean, Jurassic World Dominion is coming out. Like it kind of feels like it's now or never kind of
Yeah.
time.
But if there's a well,
So why this?
I kind of know about Exandria. I kind of know about the Shadowfell, and I'll be honest, Shadowfell's not a great place. Feywild, I am assuming.
I am 100% against going to the Feywild if we can ever. That doesn't appeal to me.
My parents picked up people from Waterdeep more than once, and I'll be honest, they act like their city is the only city on the entirety of their entire existence. They act like no one else knows how to make a bagel or a slice of seasoned bread.
I've been there before. It's fine.
But don't know much about Ixalan, and that is intriguing.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean,
Your
that.
goddess said something, didn't she?
Maybe.
You sly dog. You always
She said she wanted some teeth.
teeth.
Hey, I'm fixing up the lantern. I need ivory.
What in Ixalan has teeth that has ivory? It's like an elephant in Ixalan.
No, that's also unethical.
Okay.
Oh, elephants can't really defend themselves in the same
What
manner.
in Ixalan has teeth of
Tell them
ivory?
about the big lizards.
Giant lizards.
Like this one.
No, bigger.
And more teeth.
A lot
Bigger
more,
and more teeth.
a lot more teeth.
Wait,
I think what she is wanting me to use to inlay back into the lantern are teeth from something called a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
And the velociraptors. Don't forget the velociraptors.
And something about a Velociraptor chicken.
a velocity chicken?
Or a very fast rapper. It's
Like a bard that just knows how to rap? That just was just his lyrical genius? Anyway,
Hop, hippie to the hip hop.
just a Haragon bard just comes up. But
Okay.
anyway, I'm serious.
Intriguing. It's not the Feywild. It's not that dirty city that makes bagels. So sure.
I mean, that Tal'gor would probably like that idea.
Let's see if
he could totally ride the Tyrannosaurus.
What's a
Like-
Tyrannosaurus?
Okay, it's like
Like, I don't feel like I'm getting a good explanation when you just say big lizards and then start naming them.
alright, you know what the word Rex means, alright?
King.
Right. And Tyrannosaurus sounds kinda like
A
terrible.
tyrant?
Tyrant. It's
Yeah,
a
so-
tyrant king that is also a lizard.
Well, technically it's more like a bird, but
A bird.
I mean, that they got this one that.
hold on. I can create a small illusionary effect with prestidigitation, correct?
That's what I want.
Yes.
Correct.
So, Phil is going to very much be mentally asking Shelly, what the fuck am I magically drawing here?
Oh yeah, she puts the image in your mind. It is,
Phil's eyes go wide for a split second. I'm like, oh.
but it's not the Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's the one that's got the feathers
Yeah, it's the big poop. It's the giant, fluffy baby chicken of doom.
with a mouthful of teeth
Just-
as long as your forearm.
Ah!
Oh,
Tell them it's 35 feet tall.
It's like 30 feet tall.
Dear sweet Jesus.
Also, fun fact, spins
what
it
kind of.
and tilts it up. It has these little bitty arms.
What?
They can still lift up to.
Oh, I want to kill that.
I want you to understand something. Each of those little bitty arms can still lift 250 pounds individually. But it's got to get to it first, which means it's going to go dump and it can't get back up.
It's got such a big head
And little.
and little arms. I don't think whoever made this really thought it out very well.
Now I'm gonna have to watch Meet the Robinsons again.
I know, right?
Another
It's such a
underrated
good movie.
Disney
It's such a
classic.
good movie. Oh, good.
Goob is the least seen villain in a Disney park. He will sporadically show up once in a decade. No, like once every few months he'll show up in a Tomorrow World.
Well, well, if that we are going to have to go there, then I'm going to have to, just get up into.
Okay, so Tal'gor is voting Waterdeep or Feywild. I'm putting seems like does anyone else want to change a vote? Because I mean, I'm hearing Ixalan. What do we got, Zhonya?
That water deep is fine and all, but if it's something for your goddess, we can take that care of.
You know, I don't make fun of your school or your education. I don't appreciate shade being thrown at what I choose to follow as a religion. That doesn't require me to go in a building or give money. It just literally requires me to improve my skills to restore an antique lantern. There's
So-
people who would pay to watch this for hours.
So that you are basically like a kind of like a monastic tradition, no?
Is it? Maybe.
How are you preaching your gospel if that you don't know what it is?
I am to bring happiness, and I have seen smiles on everybody's face.
12. We're going to this place.
That is
I had rolled a 14 on insight on that.
Phil's being honest. He wants to bring happiness. You also know that Phil's version of happiness is very skewed because he doesn't understand emotions very well.
I will figure it out one of these days, but anyway.
Like,
I guess I do owe you a life debt. So anyway.
imagine vampire conquistadors go into the jungle where there's dinosaurs.
Yep.
And there's pirates.
Yep.
That's Ixalan.
It's so good.
Is this another Magic the Gathering
Yes.
setting? Okay. This is why I didn't pay attention to it.
Yes.
I mean
Look
that.
at the dinosaurs.
I mean
They're
that.
so fluffy. But, nope. I am in love with whatever the fuck is looking like a parrot.
I mean that.
Which one
Besides,
is it?
I think it's...
that's a
Oh
Monster
yeah,
Hunter thing.
it's the
That's
little-
something from Monster Hunter.
It's basically an Oviraptor.
But anyway,
It's egg thief.
that
T-Rex.
you know, I had took some students on a field trip to Waterdeep, and Calvin had got drunk at Smokey's Palace. So no,
Well, it's easy to get drunk there. They always overpour.
that they overpour, and then that that they don't know how to fix a martini.
All right. So
Excellent.
Why would you drink a martini at a barbecue restaurant?
official votes: Ixalan,
Yes.
Ixalan, Ixalan. Okay.
The conversation would have convinced me no matter what.
All right. So what I'm going to tell Nate is that his Tal'gor's vote will take precedence for the next play.
That's
Okay,
fair.
that's fair.
And you want to go back to Waterdeep, so I mean, we'll go to Waterdeep next.
Yeah.
I mean that.
That's
We'll-
fine.
we'll
We'll
take-
want to go to a city after fighting freaking vampires.
We'll just pop
and...
we'll pop in the yawning portal, head down to the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, make several bad decisions, regret it, and come home.
No.
And then the
We
Feywild
are not-
guys seem fine.
That we are not
Wait, that was-
sacrificing an elephant again.
Poor Poo.
Yes.
All right. I do believe that is literally everything I had on my list for tonight. So kudos to all of you.
Yay!
All right. Yeah. That's
Before we sign off, there's one thing Phil will want to do before we leave.
Okay.
All right, Arten, I learned a new spell, and I figured we're going to rest a little bit before we leave.
Yeah.
Actually, no, this would be, no, we're not going to rest before we leave. I won't get that spell slot back, so doing this is, it's Phil.
It's Phil.
All right, so Phil is going to pull out what looks like a jalapeno from his pocket. I need you to trust me, and I need you to eat this. And then I want you to yell in that direction straight up.
Yell what?
Anything. Just need you to do this.
And what is it supposed to do?
It's gonna be so dope, trust me.
I think I know where this is going.
Look, is anyone else in the room while you're peer pressuring me into eating?
I'm
a
just
pepperoni?
watching
But
this.
we're outside the tent. This is not happening in the tent.
I am just watching this, taking notes. Like,
You got this, come on.
I got this. I'm eating a pepper.
weird monastery.
Wait.
Erebos runs back in the tent and brings out a pitcher of goat's milk, just in
Wait.
case.
I'm gonna cast Detect Magic.
I don't know.
The pepper is not magical, it's a pepper.
I don't trust you, but you don't know I can do this yet. So
And all of us can do detect magic.
Except for Tal'gor.
it's over Tal'gor.
The poor non-mage over there.
There's no magic. So I look at it, I was like, magical.
It's a jalapeno.
Alright. Eat the jalapeno. I point directly in the air. And I yell.
A 15-foot gout of fire comes out of your mouth as I have cast Dragon's Breath on you. I can do this!
That's a good one.
Keep doing it. We can keep this up for like a whole minute. Just don't set any tents on fire.
So,
Enough.
running around, jump on the middle of the bridge.
He is that character from Rivals of
This is way too much fun.
So what? I'm getting Fusroda.
I just see.
That-
Make people happy.
I will give it to you that one. But
Irresponsible as fuck. Make people happy.
You end up with an entourage of the teenagers who are just like, "That's so cool!"
You're damn right it is.
if they
Just
need
walking
some-
around like a
They
player.
look right at Erebus. He is so gonna need that milk when this is all done.
Just walking around like Ric Flair.
So yeah, I will mark that spell slot off, but eventually we'll get it back with.
Gonna write my name in fire on the grass. I've got nothing else to do. I'm just running around with the new toy. I know it's gonna go away soon.
Yeah, so with that, we will pick back up next week with you all going through the gate to Ixalan.
Dinosaur Pirates, y'all.
Dinosaur, pirate, vampire, conquistadors.
Power Rangers,
It is that you know that the Vampire Inquisition we never expected.
Yeah, it's
you never expect
it was a really fun set of magic, so I'm excited to see what it's gonna be.
I found there is a content creator who worked on all of the she worked on Ixalan. Hang on, let me actually go pull them up because they basically gave this person the go ahead to create
So let's
plane
Connor Witch.
shift
Yeah.
settings. So Zendikar, Dominaria, Innistrad, Amonkhet, and Ixalan and Kaladesh.
Okay.
Worked on all 6 and was able to then convert all of that into a free access PDF form of all of these plane shifts between MTG and D&D.
But like, Ixalan's got some dope things going on.
You got some dope-ish.
Some real dope
And
shit.
it's definitely not as beefy a setting as Strixhaven was. But how did you all like Strixhaven?
It was great.
Nerds.
Nerds. All right. I
I
have
thoroughly
not-
enjoyed it. It's fun.
I have not put it out of contention that I might actually decide to run a straight Strixhaven module at some point down the line. That may be a thing we want to set up, but we shall see. Okay. Thank y'all for watching. I know we were rambling a bit, but this was kind of a between session, as it were. Next time we will literally get back to them hunting shards and looking for ways to not die in the teeth of a T-Rex. So.
Yeah.
Do the things.
All right, so right now the upcoming schedule for the month of June is going to be very much keep it simple. It is going to be Mondays are Holy Winds and Lost Seas, unless the Lafayette crew is moving. They are all currently having to move because their neighborhood got bought up for drainage project. So that's why we didn't play this Monday. Is some of them were like, oh, had to clean house to move stuff in house. So it's like, cool. So that'll be that. The 16th we will be running a buddy cop 2 for game with Preacher and Madrid going through 1 level of the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, and they have no clue how they got there. But we all probably can figure out.
It was
why.
Madrid. She got drunk and dropped him.
It's not hard to figure out. Let's see. This Sunday we have at 8 o'clock a late roundtable because son's birthday party, and it will be dealing with problem players at the table.
The eight will be dealing with basically a combination of basically like how to handle basically a PC death at the table, and then that you are also it's something around that, and then it's also how to basically deal with that kind of sort of deal.
Okay.
I might need to be available for that one then.
Right now I know I'm available. Nate said he's available. I know I had a request from somebody that and they might just need to go back and look through the subjects, but we might have some that are more player oriented than DM oriented.
Right.
There'll be a kitchen table in 2 weeks, and then at some point the interviews are going to pick back up. But South Louisiana crew again in flux. and we gotta just tie Nate down.
Yeah.
Because
Who are you looking for?
Nate.
Nate.
I thought you were looking for Dewey again. I'm like, he's not in here.
No. Dewey's with his mom. No, so we'll just have to tie some people down.
Right.
And I know a state of the TBA is going to be coming up, but that will not be broadcast this time. And something that I'll mention here, I don't know if we're going to do it. There might be a third podcast popping up on weekends that is more of someone proposes a subject, we look into the subject from different angles, and then discuss.
Right. That'd be good.
Nate proposed that a year ago. So we got some stuff that might be coming up. We might not. The charity is still going on for another week. We are still sitting around $160-something to donate to Global Giving's aid for fighting cancer or childhood cancer in Ukraine. LeBlanc is going to be picking up another one because sometime in July, and then every so often, we'll just run a charity that lasts a month. Any proceeds will go to that directly.
Yes.
So that's everything. Now, social media wise, if you see the Hydra, which you can kind of see the leather worked version above our DM's head, just sort of.
Do you want to tilt the camera? Tilt the camera.
I don't trust myself.
Just a little bit. Just a little.
Just a little
It's probably
bit.
good.
I can be shorter for a time.
Did it go? Yeah.
Even
Yeah, there we go. We put our logo, the Hydra, on the leather onto a whiskey barrel lid. Thank you, Claire, for the whiskey barrel lid. But if you see the Hydra on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram,
A mug.
Twitch, we are Team Bonus Action. If you see the Hydra on Twitter, we are at bonus_team. I did good for 2
You were
weeks.
close.
I did good for 2
You
weeks.
did good for a month.
2 weeks. I didn't pull off the hat
streak
trick.
is broken.
I didn't pull a hat trick. Anyway,
It's broken.
so that's who we are, where you can find us. We also have a link tree. I don't understand link tree.
That's just all of the social medias are linked into one little thing, so you can find them all together.
In a tree.
It's a tree.
And it's lit.
I don't care about social media. Anyway, since Knox is not here,
Don't
let your meat loaf. Good night, everybody.